Well, hello and welcome to the Zwift Racing League presented by WTRL. We are out on race number 5 of this round number 3 on Chasing the Sun in McCurry Islands. We're going to have a whole lot of power-ups designated today. We're going to be coming across the A and the B category. We see all you in chat, and we appreciate you being here. Dave, I'm excited for this one. It's going to be, but it's not a scratch race like last week. This week we're in for a points race, and there's a arrow, a feather, a van, a steamroller, a feather, and a burrito. In that order, 7 power-ups to use how you might deem them best used. I think there's going to be a lot of saving of power-ups today, very intentionally toward specific sections of course out here.
Yeah, this is the day that has everything packed into it. I mean, when you look at it, it's bananas out here. And it's a relatively long day as well. It's one big loop, 35K of racing. So it's going to be hard to keep up, to be honest. So buckle up. They're already out on course. We're going to focus on mostly the A's and the B's today. You never know where the journey may take us. But FTS, FAL, Nathan, we've seen both ends of the spectrum here in the last couple of weeks of this season, going from just a pure scratch race into this, which is utter mayhem as far as racing goes. So, and I mean, when you look at the pre-race notes of this course, just really quickly, I mean, this is my quick sketch of what you do here. You go harbor, marketplace, alley sprint, railway, rooftops, arcade. Then you hit Umazi Bridge to country sprints into Village Onsen, then fishing village, temple, back to Umazi into the finish. I mean, that sounds like a couple weeks in McCurry Islands, doesn't it?
Yeah, we were looking at last night at some course recons actually, and some of the old. This was done 2 years ago, I believe, something like that, and 52 minutes for the A women is what we were looking at. So we'll probably be around, I don't know, somewhere between 45 to 50 minutes for the A men. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out on a longer sprinters type course. It's pushing it out there today a little bit. Now, let's go ahead and jump down in with our first race of the day. They're about 11 minutes into racing. They've already taken on actually a couple of the sprints so far. I'll see if I can get some of the data to come on through for what the score is at this point, but we can at least take a look here at the league standings and where things are at for this this race here at this point. We are in with the Southern. Let's just double check here. Open EMEA Southern 1 is what we're jumping in with here right now at this point, Dave. And I'm pretty excited to watch this one as it's got the Dragons are in here, Dave. We've got Bike Fit Pro, Dirty Beast Kraken, quite a few here from both the beat. Well, that's going to be the Hexagons here. So, Dave, definitely some big names. Skylab as well.
Yeah, this is, I would say, the highest level that we see in the ZRL, this group right here. And you can see how competitive it's been. The Dragons have been nearly perfect. This has been the team of the year. Dragons by Sunweb Wizards here. As we look at 80 would be a perfect score. That would be winning every week. They've only had 1 week where they didn't win and they were second out there. Skylab has been really pushing them. However, as you can see, they're sitting in second, 5 points out. I mean, they're still within range. We're going to start running out of real estate pretty quickly here, as this is the 5th of 6 races this season. Man, has it gone by quickly as well. And it speaks to the quality of the racing. But Nathan, I think right here, this grouping, that final battle for the spot on the season-long podium is going to be between Hexagon, World Elite Swifters, Wolfpack, and Swedish Swifters Ymir here. They're very close, 67, 66, and 64, respectively. Tied then are at 60 points KC, that's Kirkmeyer Brave Bees, and the Ride Club Finland sitting there, tied 6th and 7th. Fudre in 8th, and then Ultra RC Racer D in 9th. So that's where things stand here as we head into the 5th race. Again, it's going to be mayhem out here as we take a look at this highly talented and motivated peloton.
Yeah, they do seem pretty motivated, actually. A little bit of a push out the front here from Melee, from the Hexagon team. That is going to be the French team here. Nice little push. Ferner there from SC, maybe trying to bring things back. But it's Metre, I'm going to see if I can get that one. Lemaitre, I believe it is, trying to slow things down at the front. Now, this kind of a move, Dave, I do kind of like these for those first across the line points. If you don't think that you can be involved at the front end of the race when the sprinting actually takes off, this is a good move because you've got some distance before the next real sprint point for any kind of challenge, that's for sure. So coming in, the next one I believe is quite a ways out. Is that going to be Tower all the way out?
So it is. Well, country.
Oh, you might be good. Country, you're right. Country, I think, is the next one out there. Yep.
I think, Nathan, it's worth noting, though, that what you said, I want to circle back on that, because if there was ever a day where a racer might not have an impact in the finale of this race, but could make a huge difference for their team by going huge early, it's a day like today. Alley Sprint, I mean, they're well through that now. That comes up so quickly in this event. It's the follow-through after that to Railway that's where I think that riders really can have an impact for their team in that way, right? Not planning on being there at the end, trying to get some early points and paying a big price for it, but getting ultimately your team up on the board. So heading into the
Country Sprint, you're 100% right there. It is going to be Country Sprint. They did Railway. They're going to make their way out into the countryside for the Country Sprint. Then it's going to be the Temple KOM right after that. That is a 2.5 kilometer climb, actually, on the dirt. Things have really changed. The conversation used to be, is there going to be a bike swap or not? That has completely left the conversation out at this point, as bike swaps are no longer really a thing. I mean, you can do some bike swaps if you are hanging out on dirt for quite a long time, but now with the changes, just sticking it with a road bike or a Tron is really where things have ended up at this point, hasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, bike swap has left the chat, to be honest, on that one. So when you look at it, that segment there, that KOM, it's not a really severe climb, but it's going to have a huge impact in who makes it into that last group that goes into the Tower Sprint reverse that brings us into the finale. So, I mean, this is one of, not only do you go really from two completely different worlds when you talk about Umezi and the countryside there versus Nyokyo. I mean, you're actually racing from day into night, night into day back into night on this course.
Absolutely love that. It's
wild, isn't it?
That is pretty fun. Yeah. We do, as things are calm here for a little bit, and I do see the chat. Apologies, we couldn't get those first three sprints. They just came at us a little bit too quickly as we are jumping in with our earliest broadcast today. We'll make sure to catch them for the next four races, though. Cross over to the B category. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the current standings, though, for the B category within this open EMEA Southern and where things are with them. And B category, Dave, it's going to be Scatolatori Seriali at the top with Disagio B is what they're calling themselves. They're undefeated, Dave.
Yeah, this is one of a few perfect scores that are up on the table right now. Scatolatori Seriali team Disagio B. I love that name. So good luck to them out here today. They're going to have to really keep the pressure going because ZRG RBP sitting in second there. Watt Fabric, Watt Cocktail in the third. Coalition Exodus in fourth right now. It's really close here. So we'll see what happens in the next two races to make up the back end of the season. We're out on the back nine right now, that's for sure. MTB Training Warriors sitting in fifth. Ride Club Finland in sixth. The Ride Club Finland has a team in the A's and the B's. I wonder if they have one in the C's too. Bike Fit Pro in seventh there. Dirty Beast Kraken in eighth, and that's our man, right? That's Eric's team.
Nathan? It is.
It is
Eric
okay.
Schlange's team. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like he has fallen off the back, though, up and over the top. I think it was up and over the top of was it Railway? I have to double check where It was rooftops. I think it was up over the top of rooftops where he had fallen off, actually. So too bad to see. We'll see if we can find him, give him a little bit of shout out, see if we can get him to go for some FTS points.
Yeah, no, I'm a believer, without any doubt. Eric is the man behind Zwift Insider, does an incredible job, a critical part of our community, and a very, very active racer out here.
Did you get coned? I just want to mention that coned V Sports Development. It has to be one of the best names. Like
in the all-time group of names, right, Nathan?
I'd say amongst all time for sure.
Yeah,
like that one's pretty solid, that's for sure. Well, we're jumping in 42nd place. We could just give him a little bit of a little ribbon for our friend here. Like, what's going on there, buddy? Let's get a move on. Not sure.
Well, I feel like, first thing here is organize the group that you're with when you talk to Director Sportives and you have riders that are in a chasing group. That's it. Organization is first. So just make sure everybody understands what we're doing here. We're trying to chase back into the group ahead of us. So let's all swap out on poles. It looks like Eric's got them quite well lined up. That Kraken team, that's one of the NHL teams out of Seattle, but also a mythical sea beast, sort of like giant squids and that kind of thing, maybe 20,000 leagues under the sea sort of territory there. But this has been a fun team in that dirt. That's Dad's Indoors Riding Trainer Squad. Who's he got with them? It looks like
Whoa. I got to jump across. I am so sorry, Dave, but I just noticed that we got distracted with Mr. Slangy here and he's hanging off the back, but we've got crazy attacks, and you know why they did this, Dave? They did this, and I can actually get a replay of this. I believe they had to have done this on the dirt, leaving, because if you push a little bit leaving, you can end up with a pretty good gap leaving the main sections of McCurry. Yeah, and so this is it right here. This is where it all went down.
Okay, so we're going back now because this is about a little over a kilometer from where they are right now. Great catch on this as they come back onto the tarmac. You can see it is bananas out here. Hexagon is the team in orange there trying to organize.
It was SZ, Dave. It's SZ that really made the moves, I believe. Look, it's Ferner, it's Lindstrom, Schrolander as well. Now, I'm not sure if Lindstrom is actually riding for SZ because he's got a different kit on, but we've got a lead group now at this point. They've got 7 seconds. Claire's coming across the Swiss rider here. Dave, this is some good separation.
And they're going to take all of the top 10, basically, the lion's share of the points here at Country Sprint, Nathan, which comes up, I don't have it in front of me, but right around 17K is where Country Sprint should be. So
can he make it, Dave? I'm not sure he's going to make it happen here. It's pretty close. And you're right. It is. He's right there. But is he? I mean, he's going to get 9th. So at least he gets that. I mean, unless he just comes right through them.
Or he comes into them. This is phenomenal from Claire here. The Swiss rider, that's tough to do because this group is on the gas right now. They're not 100% bearing the accelerator, but they've got it hovering just above the floorboard. This is your front group. We got a very interesting moment. Jacob, strong rider out here today.
Yeah, now as you can see, they're coming into this little sprint. Nobody's jumping, Dave. You can see off in the distance, there's the Zwift Racing League banner, the orange just off there. The left-hand side, is that a bus stop they're going to go by here? I think the bus stop is kind of like the go point for them, perhaps.
Farmhouse, I think that's
not a bus stop. Yeah, it is a bus stop. Right. That is a bus stop. And then I don't know what that is. What's going on there?
I think
12 watts per kilogram. Here we go. Johnson from Skylab. Skylab giving a little bit of kick now. Backing off. Here comes Karluk now from the Dragons in the Netherlands. Now up and out of the saddle. It's going to be big watts now as we've got the drafty power-ups being launched. Johnson, can he come through? Skylab, maybe he'll get. Nope, it's going to be the Dragons. Hexagon for 3rd. Johnson's for 2nd there. Malay involved. He was actually off the back earlier. How did he get across? I got to look back at that replay, Dave, because he somehow got across to this main group. But now from the main group, Dave, this is going to be all about those FTS points through here if there are some. I'm assuming that most likely there are going to be some FTS through there. So now 13 seconds up, Dave, at this point.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if this comes back together, Nathan. A lot of points have been distributed already as we're just coming through distance-wise the mid part of this race. We still have the Temple KOM, which is an FTS to look forward to. I don't believe that there were FTS
Well,
points back.
I'm seeing on I'm looking over at I thought maybe they did, some I was wondering if there was going to be or not going to be. I'm looking over at the race resume here, and it is showing, it looks like, that there are FTS across all of them. Yep. So
it certainly looked like they thought there were. So good call. Thank you, Nathan, for that. I wanted to point out, so the Dragons doing a really good job of covering what looked like Swedish Zwifters taking a huge advantage to the middle part of that race. So this has been really back and forth battling going on in our A's out here today. It looks like
A category attacks are happening again over at the A category. In the B category, we've got a similar situation to what we just saw. There's still a solid 2 kilometers or so out from that country reverse sprint, but Finelli from SST, Villegas, this is a full SST attack at this point, Dave. They are not messing around. Coalition were the ones that really kicked it off from the Finnish rider Kalioniemi, but from RCF. But now at this point, all back together, Dave. Not the kind of separation we saw within the A's, though.
Nathan, we had a really good discussion yesterday about whether this is an individual sport or a team sport when you talk about esports racing, and jokingly the answer is yes. And it's because it's true. It's both. And at times it's very much a team sport. That's what we're seeing right now from the coordinated efforts from Swedish Swifters or the Dragons, or here right in front of us is SST and the Bees that we've got on screen. But it's really, really fascinating when you look at how these teams seem to sense a tactical play. At the end of the day, tactics are one thing, but a motivated athlete who really comes to race, that's the name of the game for getting it done out here. Tactics are secondary. When you look at it, here we go, though. This is going to be sprinting for points that we're looking at now. Top 10 should score from 10 down to 1 at the arch that we'll see. They're going I think that is a trailhead there that they're going past.
Yeah, as we take a look. Some sort of like walking trail, wood walking trail through the swamps, perhaps. Perhaps it's a little wetlands.
They do these on beaches as well. Right, exactly. Just to kind of keep you out.
Is he going to hold on? I think he gets nipped at the line. Bike Fit Pro. Oh, nice one there from the Portuguese rider. Coalition, I think, settling for maybe second or third there across the line. It was Nepper from Watt Fabric that made the early move, but gets nipped at the line by a solid kick there from P. We'll call him Mr. P, hanging out here from Bike Fit Pro. Hockey's there as well. A lot of Finnish riders. That's got to be, I believe that Finland crew. If I take a look back at the standings.
Finland Bike Club, right?
Is just double checking here. Ride Club Finland B. That's what it is. Ride Club Finland B. Nice little counterattack, though. Mignosi now continuing on. I like this because things are tough just a moment ago, and that's when you really want to go, Dave. But, they were trying that a little bit within the A's, and if we have any kind of similarities between these two, I mean, if we take a look at what's happening within the A category at this point, it's all Grupo Compacto, and they're just waiting for that climb that's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it really, after you come through that country sprint that we just witnessed for our A's and B's, the C's and D's are just hitting that now. It's most of the climbing for today comes in this next 6K block, taking you up to the Temple KOM. Out here, there is some climbing that happens earlier, going up to the railway, for example, but no doubt this is really the hardest part of the terrain that they see out here.
Moving to the front, there'll be a left-hand turn in just a moment here as they head through, I believe, I think they already came through a little bit of a fishing village, perhaps. What point do they actually hit that? It's a little past this 20K marker that they actually hit that Temple Clam. And this is an FTS. And so going for an all-in FTS, it's not necessarily about first across the line. But from bottom to top, Dave, I mean, you can sag climb, and then if you sag climb and then go right through everybody and take the FAL as well, you will get FTS and FAL. And it's a little bit easier to judge that on a climb like this, isn't it, than a sprint? Yeah,
absolutely. Boy, they're making this hard, though. See how it's stringing out and little gaps are starting to open up? This is where
it kind of surprises me. Like, I don't know,
me
like
too.
you want to separate, you want that separation, you want the FAL maybe a little bit easier, but the way they're driving this pace, somebody who's at the back, they're going to get a second or two, and if they come up to you, you've got to get that second or two on them before you hit the line.
Risk reward, right? Really hard to find a reward right now, but I can see a lot of risk.
Well, see if we can get a look at the course profile, but it looks like everyone is visiting ZwiftInsider.com for Chasing the Sun at this moment because it's completely unresponsive. So I have a feeling that that's a really popular website today. Everybody is wanting to get. Now, here is that. Look behind here. Look at what Hexagon is doing. This is what they need to do to get the better of the Dragons today. And look at Bernard and Lemaitre. They are sag climbing. Now they got to press through, and he gains that 2 seconds from the front of the pack. Unless, well, see, he's got to really kick, though, Dave. It's always that risk reward, isn't it?
Yeah, and so that's the risk when you do this now. So what you're seeing is a technique. If you go all the way to the back of the group, you know that you can use the draft. That's almost like using a draft power-up. Now he's rocketing through here. So this is Lemaitre that we're talking about, the Hexagon rider, who's putting on a clinic. If he can hold on now on the way up to the Temple KOM, we're into it. This is the thick of it now. Averaging 3.6%. You can see it's kicking up to 5. It never gets severely steep, but this is right in the neighborhood of where you're going to stay here. So if Lemaitre, Nathan, I say all, air quotes around that, but if he can ride right on the front the rest of the way to the top of the climb, he's assured of taking the FTS here, which is 20 points.
Now, staying with the screw is going to be really difficult here, Dave. Janowitz now from the Dragons now making his way to the front, 187 beats per minute here. And that was a big effort to get back involved, Dave, wasn't it? Right. I mean, was there a little bit of an overextension, perhaps? You know, sometimes you kind of get a little too worried. You didn't necessarily have to throw down a sprint effort. And next thing you know, your heart is through the roof. Is that what's happening with the Hexagon rider? Well, they're still involved at the front, and it's the Dragons who push on. Dave, if you go too early here, you can really fade at the end. This is one of those climbs that's just long enough, Dave, that you can go full nuclear and start going sidewinder uphill.
Yeah, and that was the toughest part, getting through right there. Nathan, I mean, like an effort like this is a bit like talking to someone on Mars, right? You make the huge effort, you know it's only a matter of seconds until the lactic acid's going to pool in your legs, and you're going to pay a huge price. You can see the power-up being used there, the steamroller, which is relatively unique. It makes this, changes it into a smooth tarmac as far as the effect that you're feeling. And this is Janowitz now, one of the Dragons up in the front group. You can see why they've had such a successful season up to this point.
Limpan now toward the back here. Now we're going to kind of keep an eye on where the splits might start happening. Look at the heart rates, Dave. 190 beats per minute across many of the riders now. The steamrollers being deployed at just the right times for a lot of these riders. You can see off in the distance in the mini map, there's the KOM banner. They've got a couple of little kicks here at this point. They're going to come over the top. You're going to hit this bridge, and then there's the last couple of punches that really, really hurt. And coming through here, I'm always looking for a little bit of a wheel when I'm really suffering through here. Is just a little reprieve that you can get. And then there's a last kick to the line. We'll see how this goes here. There is still Hexagon involved. 3 riders from Hexagon, and they did fade climb this, Dave. Dragons, they were at the front when it was at the bottom here, but Lemaitre here, this is going to be, I think he's going to walk away with this one. As far because he's got a 2-second buffer to work with, doesn't he?
Yeah, right. I mean, just remembering now, it's a couple of minutes ago, but the way he started this, he set it up perfectly. He's untouchable right now. The Elliott Ness at this time, even if he doesn't come across the line first, I think that the way that he set this up was nearly perfect. Let's see what happens now.
Timing on that steamroller really well done, because this is going to carry him over the 8%, and then there's going to be another little bump here, little sidewinder for a second, then it's a sprint to the line in just a moment. Nicely done here from Malay. He's got a 1-second gap. Now it's going to be Chong from WZ trying to come across. The reel is there as well. Furnace now starting to come across. Last kick. This is the one that really, really hurts. 9% gradient, Dave, and this is that last punch if you can hang on as riders start to attack. Here it comes now, though. That's going to be Denise Big kick from him. Now, see, this is what you got to know, Dave. When to use those power-ups is absolutely key because he gets the most out of that speed from that power-up right now and that downhill right into the line.
Yeah, really playing it perfectly, having the patience and the belief in his legs to be able to do that as well. It's amazing how things change at the front of this race as we're just coming through. There's the arch, and it looks like Denise is going to hold on. There's Chung coming up now, who was the top rider of the World Elite Zwifter out of, I want to say Singapore. We'll get that right. But Kiko Ariel, Spanish rider also. With some of these names you're going to be hearing in Zwift games coming up as they are really sharpening the sword. Nathan, it is just absolute pandemonium going on right now on McCurry Island.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get some preems in here. I'm going to be checking them in just a second. And it was Camille Denise for the first over the line is what I'm seeing, actually. Yep. And for fastest time, though, I'm seeing Camille Denise as well there, interesting enough.
Wow. So
for fastest time. From what I'm seeing over in Zwift Power right now, it's showing him at a 4:41. I'm going to double check that in game here real quick. I'll bring up the leaderboard and see if we can still have that board. We actually don't have the leaderboard.
So Lemaitre was the rider that is Denise also hexagon?
Yeah, he is. And Thomas Lemaitre took second at a 4:42. So I think Camille was off the back with him. That's double up for hexagon.
Right. That's perfect. Boy, if you're going to beat the Dragons, that's exactly how you do it. You make a bold move at that point in the race. You can't ask for more than that. If we take a look at this front group now, there's 3 hexagon riders in this group.
Yeah, that's and look impressive. Back here, Dave. There's one Dragon up a front and one chasing at this point, Dave. Hexagon's got everything to fight for alongside. SZ have 3 riders involved here as well. So, I mean, what are they going to be thinking about, you think here, David? Because looking at the standings now at this point, press on, right? Because SZ, they're not really a threat at this point for them necessarily. You know, they all move up.
I mean, like,
Skylab is who they're really trying to take out at this point.
And I mean, that's going to be tough as well. In a weird way, Hexagon and Swedish Zwifters, the one thing that they can do is try to put World Elite Zwifters out of the conversation coming into the final week, or at least not as much of a threat coming into the final week of racing. It's because Swedish Zwifters have 3 as well. So right now, both of those teams might as well just keep working, rotating through. There's 1 Dragon, 1 World Elite Zwifter here. So
yeah, and the World Elite Zwifters they were right next to those teams with the total points score so far in the league. So they're going to be happy to see what they're seeing here when it comes to the numbers that have made it. This is perfect, really, for SC and Hexagon, what they've been able to set up. Clara off the back, not sure he's going to be involved still.
Jump's going to be hard to beat in the finishing sprint. I mean, it's basically downhill. But that's okay. It doesn't matter at all if you're looking at this from the team perspective, which you should be, because that's how we keep score.
I gotta show you what's happening in the B category. This guy got a 15-second gap. Comba. Oh my God. He went from like the bottom, Dave, and just said, forget it, and just blew things apart. The Portuguese rider, P here, Mr. P, he tried going across. Wasn't going to happen. Now it's going to be these Italians in this B category, Dave. They are just relentless. I mean, they just continue to, they're trying to send people across now. Now, Dave, do you know how quickly that 15 seconds can come back on the dirt? When you've got a steamroller situation like this, now it is going to be Schumann trying to come across there. Coalition as well, starting to get involved. Look at that. Look at how strong that is, Dave. That was like almost 20 seconds a moment ago, and he jumped across like it was leapfrogging in preschool, Dave. What is going on?
You can't close down gaps faster than you do right here through this magical part of McCurry Islands. That's for sure.
Well, so it's our little buddy. What's his name again? Where's our buddy? He's not there. I'm not seeing him. The Kappa, thank you. Comba comes across first. It's going to be Mignosi, Schumann, Coalition. They're going to be coming forward for 4th. There's Smith there from SST, and Bike Fit Pro with P here, who did try to go in across. That's going to round out the top 6. I think just barely able to hold on to 6 there. But yeah, the Kappa, we got to see if we can find him. I miss our buddy. We haven't seen the Kappa in so long, and I think we just haven't been in this section of McCurry. There was a little while there where we were covering this section of McCurry like every other week, it felt like.
It was, I mean, a couple years ago when it came out, we'd see the Kappa, people would go crazy. Very reclusive, kind of
go crazy. Kappa fever. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a thing for sure. So all right, well we'll see what we can do in that front. No promises.
I have
that's
like
for
this
sure.
image in my head, like spring break, people are going crazy, Kappas are flying everywhere. Like what's going on? Like it's just this little imaginary character in a video game. Everyone's going nuts.
It doesn't know what's going on either, so it's overwhelmed. It sounds like quite a scene.
Oh my gosh. Hey everybody, I just want to highlight here also that we do have the ladies kicking off here in about 30 seconds. We got 2 minutes racing going on, that's for sure. 23 seconds to the start of the women's EMEA. This is going to be, I believe, our Central. Just double checking here real quickly. Yep, EMEA Central 1. This is the A's taking off. We are going to be in with the B's as well after the men finish up here. But as they take off, we'll just see how things start up, as we will not miss those first sprints, as we will have recordings of huge names, Dave. Huge names. Yeah. Real quickly as they take off, let's take a quick look at the overalls, and then we'll jump right on in.
Actually, and Katy Perry, it looks like, heading out there. So, okay, thanks, Nathan. I did see Jamie Lee Wright's name. She's an absolute icon in esports, one of the founders of the Aeonian team. They're on top of the table. Is there another one of the rare teams that have a perfect score going after 4 of the 6 races that make up the season? So let's see what Aeonian RT can pull off out there today, as they've got the BL13 Thundercats, the team with a lot of momentum right now, sitting in second there, with SC Sin in third, Wahoo Cole Grandier in fourth, Sports Solid Team NL, very close with Coalition Rhapsody, fifth and sixth, Synergy Shred in seventh here, and then we've got Revo Arrows looking to pick up a stage win today. Maybe Hexagon W could do the same, or Movistar. The E-Team Women. And that's it for our top 10 as they head out on the course. Again, everybody today racing out on McCurry Islands, chasing
Dave, look
the
at
sun.
How quick this comes at them. Look at how quick. I mean, there's already in the mini map.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's alley sprint that we're looking at. Very rare. They're already now into the time segment here. Yeah, Nathan, I don't know that there's another event that has points that are scored this quickly.
Katie Hills with the Academy finalist now up and over the top. Big kick from her. Will she be able to hold on to the line? Dave, it's not in sight yet. I think Abus is going to come over the top of this.
Really? I don't. I just think she's so strong.
Good
call on your part.
Line, Dave. She went a little earlier. It's going to be BL13 with two Fox and Pruitt across the line. The girls in pink making it happen there. Nice one.
This is a hard race to say goodbye to. I tell you what, this is what it's all about in esports. I know today's a 3-ring circus with events happening. It's an interesting day with the distance of racing out here on Chasing the Sun, just at 35K. So it's going to be sending these women out onto course. What's going to be a banana start to this one. It looks like BL13 really well positioned. That team, they've got a great kit as well. Classy, stands out. It fits the vibe of the squad, but the vibe today is going to be just eyeballs rolling up into the back of your head, as it's a full-on Donnybrook out here for ZRL Race 5.
Look at what SZ are up to. Actually, it's going to be Haley Simmons that's at the front now, immediately coming up over the top. They're looking toward Railway next here in just a moment. And Dave, I mean, what is that at? That's at about 4? So for a little over 4K, I believe, right around that 4K marker. So we'll jump back in with them in just a second. I do want to highlight, though, what's happening across the men's races. I know, everybody, there's a lot going on. Left-hand side of the screen, we got that Hexagon crew battling out within the A category here still. It is going to be, big kick from LA. Big kick here, Dave.
And look, I mean, his team are sitting up right on the front, not chasing, but covering this move. Hexagon putting on a clinic out here today, Nathan. This has been really impressive from them.
Yeah, they got the numbers, don't they, Dave? They got the numbers. They're doing what they need to with it.
Yeah, they're playing all their cards perfectly to take top points, which is 20 points out here today. Before they used to say, don't poke the bear, they used to say, don't poke the dragon back in medieval times. And I have a feeling that these the Hexagon team.
First-hand experience from Dave. He's really aging himself this time. Oh, man.
I'm old enough to, from what I've heard.
Heard it directly from King Arthur's mouth. Don't poke the dragon.
From the round table. That's what the word was. But no, but you definitely, they've not only poked the dragon, they are right now punching it right in the snout.
Dave, can you hold on? What's the total distance on this?
34. I want to say it's 34-8, but okay. I'm double checking.
I'll double check on that as well here. And I mean, this ends up 35.1 is what I'm seeing for one lap over at Zwift, so he's got a little ways to go. He does. That's what it's saying on the website for WTRL, 35.1. So this is a pretty bold move this far out, isn't it then? Oh, and this is is this actually point? Is this scored? I think that was actually scored. Yeah, Tower Sprint reverse was scored. That was actually 4 points. That's what he was going for there. My mistake, everybody. I thought he was going for the finish line, but that was all about those Tower reverse.
100% sorry about that. So now the Lions, the points are waiting still to finish line, but he's coming back. Yeah, that was all about that Tower Sprint reverse.
I thought he was going for the finish line. I really thought that we were right into it here, and I didn't realize we had another sprint coming up, and that was nicely done by Millie. There's so many sprints here, Dave. It's tough to keep track of how many we got today.
This is the most complicated 35 kilometers of racing that you find on the planet. I mean, in real life or Zwift-wise. I mean, you're racing from the night into the day through tunnels, going back into the night now, as we're back into Nyokyo at this point. The Umezu tunnel is really tough on you, just as far as your perception of where you are on the course. Sometimes you're on railways and rooftops. Sometimes you're doing country sprints out here. You go through a fishing village at one point, go by a temple, the Kappa, playing with people's minds. Now we got Wahoo Lacole back on the front here, Nathan. Let's see what they're going to try to do. This is our A's that we're looking at. Swedish, this gonna be
nice little kick here from Swedish Swifters. Embring, but here it comes. Is it gonna be BL13 again? Are they gonna do it again? I see Pruitt here coming through. Pruitt, maybe. No, last kick from the Ionian rider. Harper with 11 watts per kilogram and an arrow power up. She's got distance. That's done.
And her teammate coming up as well.
It's gonna be Hill.
Yeah,
is right there as well.
Well, the Empire strikes back, to tell you the truth, because BL13, the team sitting in second, Nathan, they definitely had a better run at the first sprint, but that time it looked like Aeonian positioning themselves with more riders taking more points there, and that's the name of the game. We're going to go jump back into the finale now, under 1K to go. As
1K to go. Hexagon. Chong, it's going to be a left-hand turn. They're going to see off in the distance as they take that left-hand turn. They're going to see the finish line. Danny's not going to be able to hold on. Chong closes it down. They've got distance. This is dangerous here still at this point. They're going to need a little bit of a lead out there for SZ because I'm not sure they're going to be able to catch him.
He's gone. The thing is, he's been sitting in that group, Nathan, for most of the last 15 minutes. So he's
and an arrow power up.
Yeah, he's gone. He wins last week, so the World Elite Zwifter, absolutely phenomenal, nailing this one. But that's not really the story. The story's going to be the Dragons with a lot of points at the finish, Nathan.
Yeah, that's actually a good amount. They just took second and third, actually.
That's a tremendous finish for the Dragons. Is it enough? Unfortunately, we don't have the data from along the way to be able to really tell you exactly where we're at points-wise, but certainly makes it a little more interesting.
The guesswork? Is that what makes it
Yeah,
interesting?
guesswork.
doing all the math in our heads
If you didn't
real
think my
quickly.
guesswork was already interesting,
I
now it's
mean,
even more so.
oh my gosh. Let's jump across in with this B category as they're making their way around. Let's see if we can get. I think our feeds are freezing up just a little bit across that B category. We'll jump back in with the ladies then because of that, but we'll jump back in with the Bs in just a moment. Ladies here now starting their rooftop. Now, rooftop here, I don't know if they actually, is there a KOM at the top? I've heard that we don't actually have anything for this KOM. I'm seeing tempo
So there
forward
is
climb.
the
I'm
only
seeing country
KOM.
reverse, railway, tower, and alley. So yeah,
The
you're
only
right.
KOM is Temple. Right.
So what's up with Haley? Is she just like I'm just gonna break everybody? Like she just wants to make it hard?
Well, the next points opportunity is going to be country sprint, so she'll have gone through the Umazi tunnel and be racing in the daylight at that point. She's one of the strongest women on the platform, so I mean she's even the kind of rider that you might check out on as far as if she attacks and gets a 20-second gap, they might not even chase her back.
And just go get FALs all day long.
Yeah,
I don't think she has anybody really
wrong.
in the group here, Dave. Like, I'm not sure Movistar has shown up today, really. It might just be her. So she just says, forget it, I'm out of here.
Place, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they were in last place currently, yeah.
Right. So there's no real danger if you're looking at big picture season-wise or even big picture today's race-wise that you have to chase her. That's sort of a downer, isn't it, with commentary to say that.
Well, it's kind of hype though for her. Like, look, forget it. I'm checking out. Catch me if you can. It's also a big
challenge. Yeah, exactly. And even if they say, okay, well, she can take all the points along the way, they still don't really just let you
Look at this, Dave. Now this is danger.
Yeah. I would say so.
1, 2, 3 other teams getting involved with Movistar at the front. There's going to be no motivation to chase behind.
They're going to join Haley here. You're going to have a 4-rider break at this point that could stay away for the rest of the day. It's that dangerous. You look at the teams that are represented. If Aeonian doesn't want to chase, Swedish Swifters don't want to chase, Wahoo Lacole doesn't want to chase, that might be foregone. But I think Haley's going to have some company.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. 7 seconds up the road now at this point.
It's almost like
Henrik.
every
Dave, Simmons has 11 seconds, though, Dave. She's extending it.
For now. I mean, and I definitely full respect to Haley Simmons. But I think that these women are racing her. The second group, I do think they're chasing her. I don't think they're thinking that they've just got their own imaginary front of the bike race here. You see what I'm saying? They can play this two different ways. Right, yeah. It's definitely, okay. So is this a chase group or a 3-rider breakaway? I know that sounds like a weird question, Nathan, but what do you think?
I think Bjarhi just went to the front at 5 watts per kilogram, wanting to get that speed up. 50 kilometers per hour. Are they matching is going to be the big question. Simmons is doing 55. Now they got to get that speed up.
Simmons? Yeah, and I mean, Haley Simmons is one of the 10 best esport athletes out there, arguably, on any given week when she's, fully fit and rearing and ready to go. So, she could definitely stay away the rest of the day.
Real quickly, going to jump in with the finish of the B category here. Bignosi versus his teammate Komba. Not really versus. I think he's being a lead-out man to make sure he's not caught by the coalition rider. Schumann's there as well, 5.8 watts per kilogram behind now. But I think SST, they've got a little bit of a gap. Going to be a lot of work here at this point to catch these two. But coalition might make it happen. But Komba, he sat in. Nice lead-out for the Italian team to take the first place points across the line most likely. Big kick from Schumann behind, but I don't think he's going to be able to make the catch now. 9.8 watts per kilogram. Too much distance here at this point, as it is going to be, well, did I speak too soon here? Nope, Kuma does come across the line, makes it happen. And that is going to be the finish for the B category as they cross the line. That was for our Southern. Open Southern EMEA. Back in with the ladies. Simmons is out to 15 seconds now at this point, Dave, with the A women.
Haley Simmons has raced as a professional on the road. there's no question that, and I'm trying to remember, she was a Movistar Academy rider as well, wasn't she? She has.
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember what her celebrity was. She rode for the United Healthcare team, which is one of the strongest American teams in the history of the sport here in the States. Not saying that they were the strongest, but they're in also a top 10 over time with the teams like 7-Eleven and the Raleigh Boys. You know, they were up there, and they had a women's contingent, as every modern team should. And the women, for that was Corinne Rivera, rode, or Lebecki now. Corinne rode for that squad and was a real force for that team. So Haley Simmons, in my estimation, 13 seconds right now. The quality of the women chasing her are strong enough. I mean, we haven't even talked about the fact that Katie Hill right now, if you subscribe to Eurosport or are hip to the Zwift Academy, well, it just dropped the first episode today, and Katie Hill is one of the women's finalists there. She's still out racing with us today. So I love seeing it.
Looks like they were caught, Dave, on that downhill. Simmons keeping 15 seconds at this point is a big deal, because the truth is at this point, with that kind of a gap and hitting the flats, if they don't work to bring her back, and Dave, the teams will have to look at each other and go, we're going to work together to bring back Haley. They might just check out on her. They might just be like, whatever, like she gets all those FALs. It doesn't impact our race. It doesn't impact the overall standings. Let her go.
Okay. Why would you do work to bring her back if it was to your detriment versus the competitors you've got points-wise, not versus Haley Simmons? I honestly think you cut bait on that. If I'm directing a team, I would definitely say it's not our problem, ladies.
Yeah, it's a good point, Dave. It's a really good point. And I think
it's great racing, isn't it? Really,
they may just let this go. I think you're right, Dave. I think that they're going to let this go and let it be Haley. I mean, and she gets to have this awesome workout, great ride off the front, and take a ton of points. and you know, Dave, I mean, the amount of points that you can get FAL off the front, that's going to put them most likely in the standings at the end of the day in some sort of way.
Yeah, and I mean, I just feel like it's a good, just positive mental flex, right? I mean, to attack Katie Hill and the women at this level and hold them off in a solo breakaway because tactically they deemed you too strong. I'll take that. Like my ego could use a boost around here. And I think that Haley Simmons is getting a big ego boost right now. This woman is a legend.
Yeah, we're seeing she's riding off-road for the Movistar team,
leaving.
actually. Movistar Gravel is actually what she's focusing on from looking at, actually, here. She did participate. It looks like she did last year. The last post I'm seeing from her, this might be a pinned post, actually. She did participate in Gravel Worlds, actually, for Great Britain. So she's definitely focused in on the entire gravel world at this point for the Movistar team.
She's the real deal and a bag of chips, actually. I mean, she's not only racing in real life on the road, she's done gravel. She's successful in esports. This woman's got it going on as she doesn't spend a lot of time in the arcade, Nathan, like you and I did, I'm sure. I spent a lot of quarters in there through the years. But now it's time to say goodbye and head out to the Umazi Tunnel. And we'll be leaving nighttime racing into the day here. I don't know. I'm going to say she doesn't come back. I'll just hang that up on the door there.
Yeah, I mean, how much time can be, when she spends that much time out on course, right? And you have the breakaway situation, we start getting into a little bit more of a stage racing kind of tactic, kind of chalkboard when you start thinking about how this is going to play out, because there is a significant climb on course today, and you can eat away at a good amount of that distance that she's gained, that time that she's gained through that climb. And so a lot of these riders, and also there's some sprints that are coming up. There's going to be sections that are going to eat away at that. So she has to really get a good buffer, though.
I mean, yes, and Nathan, in no way am I going to rain on that parade, but I would say that the way things are going tactically, she might not give back any time out here. She might finish with a minute advantage. If I mean, and that's really racing, isn't it?
Yeah, because of the way that the pack is riding now at this point, it's so chill at the front. 3.2 watts per kilogram from a crew like this.
Still going out. It's gone out to 34 seconds now. Now, what's crazy is, and this is where this is far from disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing. This is a yes and moment where I'm saying, yeah, that's possible. It could be anywhere from 1 minute and 10 seconds that Haley wins by to she gets caught. And that's why we actually race them instead of you and I just talking about it and then saying goodbye. We're going to let them race and prove it. Right? Or
it would be such an interesting show.
Okay, that's it. Dave determined that she's going to stay away, so why bother? But it is going out to 37 seconds now. So just in the last kilometer, Nathan, she's added another 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, really getting some good time now at this point. Calder from Coalition continuing to be the woman who takes over at the front and just kind of controlling things, it seems like, Coalition here at this point. Let's get another reminder of where the standings are at with these ladies. This is the situation. So BL13, they've had a good race so far today, Dave. I think they've taken a lot of points up front, which is good to see. Challenging Aeonian RT. What's been interesting to me is how Wahoo Lakola has been performing, and whether or not they're going to have a good day out here today. SC Sin right there in third place, going to try and battle the BL13 Thundercats. Dave, where are the battles here in your mind?
Yeah, it's BL13 and Swedish Swifters for me. That's the bike race. That's the meat and potatoes of this thing. Because BL13, you saw how aggressive they were in that first sprint out here. Swedish Swifters, though, I think as we go back and take some inventory, it's not really going to be possible to tell who's still got the stocked shelves and where the cupboards are a little bit barren because at this point, it's still between these two teams. So they both, I think tactically it's perfect for what Haley Simmons did. She knew these teams were going to have to watch each other closely. They couldn't afford to burn resources chasing Haley back because they knew that they got to be there for the Thundercats and the Sin team. Because Aeonian, actually, Nathan, they're in a really nice situation where they can let those two teams fight, sit back a little bit, and then take their tactics from there, which gives them a nice advantage here. It's always better when you can let the other teams take the first swing at it and see where things stand and then recalibrate and make your effort, if you're following what I'm saying. You don't want to be the first team that puts your neck out there.
It's a great point. It's true. We're hitting the dirt here now, Dave. Nobody, again, chill through the dirt even.
Look at
even through the dirt. How much is what's the prediction? Quick little predictions here. How much is coming back on the sprint? 10 seconds? 10, maybe?
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not just agreeing to agree either. I think 10 is maximum, though.
Yeah,
because for Haley, the game now is how much time can I put into this group? She's in her own world. She's in her own postal code at this point. And so she's going to see, can she get a minute 30? Is that possible on this group? I mean, are they going to play the tactics this hard? Look at Wahoo Lakola lining themselves up right on the front. Next, you got Swedish Swifters, and then you can see BL13. This feels like a world tour race right now. I mean, I feel like I'm watching Tour de France Femme avec Zwift.
So the next sprint's coming up here pretty quickly. What is the exact marker on this one? I'm going to see. No, you're... you didn't know? You're actually...
Sorry. I just realized I'm in McCurry Island, which is nowhere near France. You never know. You never know. I don't see a Tour de France stage happening in Asia. No, we haven't been able to get one in the States yet. So let's go back, though, Nathan. I mean, these ladies are waiting for... It's over a minute now from Simmons to this group.
Yeah, let's mark it when the sprinting actually starts and when they're going to end up with, to see how much time is brought back just from the sprint. As Simmons is almost there, actually.
This sprint, then, brings you into what's going to be really telling for, well, I now am 100% convinced that Haley's gone. But after the sprint, they climb all the way up to the Temple KOM from here. So that's our leader, Haley Simmons. I didn't realize she did Gravel Worlds. Good catch on that.
Yeah, representing the UK at Gravel Worlds,
which
actually.
is not an easy ticket to get, right? I mean, gravel's become very competitive in the United Kingdom. Gravel's become competitive everywhere, but it's certainly United Kingdom is one of the nations that seems to have embraced it. And Haley Simmons is right now showing some really good form coming into the 2024 in real life season. If you can do this on Zwift, I really realize, Nathan, that in real life racing and what happens in the World Tour, it's different than esports. There's in that the Venn diagram, there's some serious overlap there, without any doubt. There's some folks can be really good at both, like Jay Vine, but in general, esports is it's very specialized to what these athletes are doing. But for Haley Simmons today, it hasn't been a whole lot of over-under 10-20 efforts. It's been just a major watt bomb she threw at the field. But her average power is probably 1 watt per kilogram higher than anyone else out here. Maybe more than that, actually. More than 1 watt per kilogram.
Looking at Haley so far, she's put out 4.6 watts per kilogram. So
yeah,
you're
who's
right.
Next best?
Yeah, next best is about Emma Todd at 3.7, Marlene Jarhi 3.9, so almost a full watt per kilogram actually over the top.
Well, give her all the points, Nathan. Do you have a cha-ching sound like a cash register?
Minute 13 back at this point as Stewart makes her way to the front from WLC, as you can see. So now the ramp up's going to start here, Dave. Now, I think right about now, as Stewart makes her way to the front at 4.3, this is when we can start saying, okay, 114 is where things were at when they started to ramp it up.
I don't know. Do you think that commentary can influence an esports race, Nathan?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I would agree.
100%.
And I mean, sometimes if you push a narrative out there, like if they let her go, it doesn't matter. It might affect some riders' mindset as well, who maybe are listening to the broadcast or not. But I think that this was inevitable, what we saw today with Haley Simmons out here. But the racing's going now. So they're going to launch behind her. So, yeah, 114 right now, Nathan.
Yeah,
Simmons
this is going to be the next kick. They really left this one late. Really left this one late for the sprint now. Avis Synergy now starting to kick. The points are so crucial to the line, so they're just going to, wow, look at this. Embring here leading it out for SZ. BL13 with Pruitt. Now Katie Hill.
Really about FAL.
Left-hand side. Yeah, who's going to come from behind is going to be the big question for those FAL points here. Fox, Harper, Stern.
BL13.
BL13. 1, 2, 3, Dave. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Good for them. So, again, remembering that they can really, not that they don't care, and I'm in no way dismissing it, but Haley Simmons is not really their problem. And they got to be really happy with the way things are going here, as they've been stacking up sprint points like cordwood out here today. That's BL13 I'm talking about. The team that's leading is Movistar, and that's our leader right in front of you here.
114 was the gap. It's down to 102. So they brought back 12 seconds on just the sprint.
So little more than the 10, but not much more.
Yeah, so
not enough.
Not enough. It's going to make too much of an impact now at this point.
Watch, it goes back out, doesn't it?
Yeah, most likely. Unless they ramp up into the climb. Unless there's some sort of a big
like
ramp up into the climb.
I sound like Larry David there, but it does, because she's going to go back into her 4.5 to 4.8 watts per kilo now, where they're going to settle back into, look at the front of the chase. Around 2.5.
Yeah, Gilbert here now. Completely chill. Like nothing is even happening now. Look at this. They are spread across the road. No one cares one bit.
Tactics. This is racing.
Yeah, 100%. As you can see, Berard. We actually have some images actually of the B women as well.
Oh, haven't even want to jump across. Kelowna. Oh, I'll leave that there.
Kelowna Iken? Yeah, that's a pretty big one. That's a pretty big deal, Perona. The Dragons, did you know the Dragons hang out in the B category for the ladies as well with Krimer, the German, coming across the line there just a moment ago?
You think it might if I didn't know that I would admit to it, because I'm terrified of the dragons. I
Let's
would
give them a
never get
highlight here, Dave. This B category as Haley Simmons walks away, and they're getting a little bit of time here in the A category before they actually hit that climb. As Haley continues to just press on. Let's see what's happening here.
Nathan, on behalf of the entire Zwift community, I want to say thank you for the efforts you've made of covering more than just the A's. Over the last season, you've gone way above and beyond on this, so thanks a million. Level B's on top of the table, Swedish Swifters, the Swedish Swifters in second, Synergy Speed in third, the Dragons, big fan Dragons, sitting in fourth, Team Castelli, the Development Women's Squad in fifth. When you look at it here, this from second to fourth, looks like most of the action today should be happening there as far as the intensity with the points battles. We'll see if Synergy can get closer to Swedish Swifters, or from Swedish Swifters' perspective, they'd like to hold them off now, wouldn't they? It's going to be Team Castelli then in fifth, Wahoo Lacole just 1 point behind them, with a coalition, Delirium, 1 more point back from there. So that's also really, really tight, 5, 6, 7. And Opera, ESRT in 8th, BMTR, Zwift Club, Wild Cosmos in 9th, and then CC Racing. They're sitting there now in 10th, but actually tied there in 9th and 10th with BMTR. So that's where things stand after 4 races this season. I can't believe we're already into the 5th of 6th right now as we go back and pick up. This is Synergy with Smith on the front. I want to say Natalie.
A little bit of a press here from Smith. I'm not sure if it's Natalie Smith. There is a Natalie Smith, but might be. There might be a couple of Natalie Smiths, but Natalie Smith usually riding for the Riot team, but maybe and also not coming from.
See if I can get lucky.
Not coming from the UK. She's from New Zealand. So, but Chase here now for the US of A toward the front. A lot of USA flags here, Dave. Liking to see this within this B category. I saw Pamela Levine in here, one of the OG Zwifters. Used to ride for Vision back in the day, actually. She's jumping in, and that's going to be for I Race Like a Girl. WLC also have a B category team, as you were saying here, Dave. Let's see what they can pull off. But in this category, level Bs have been just absolutely dominant, haven't they?
Yeah. And when you look at it, the tactics that we talked about, whether it's the A's, the B's, or down to the C's and D's, tactics are what makes this really fun for a lot of riders, and what makes these events sticky, why we have nearly 20,000 athletes competing in WTRL, CRL, is the fact that they like coming back and being with that same group. Here goes an attack, though. Speaking of dragons, Nathan,
is that going to be Kramer again? Is it Kramer? I think perhaps
so.
She's been super aggressive so far. No, it's going to be Harding, for the Dragons that's making that move. But that gets covered immediately. They're not messing around. I like how they are doing this. Very different situation within this B category, isn't it, than we were seeing? Well, I shouldn't say too much different, because Haley took off in that A category. We'll jump back over to them as they're about to make their way up and over the top. But Dave, what's interesting is that 19.3, this B category's actually gone faster. Sorry about that. We'll get back over here. The B category's actually gone faster than the A's overall.
I'm not amazed.
Way that they're riding.
Yeah, I'm not amazed. Nicola Smith, by the way, is the Synergy rider.
Thanks,
there.
Dave. Good
well,
catch.
I needed to correct myself there. I felt obligated.
142, Dave. Haley's just showing us that she's not interested in hanging out with anybody today.
I'm a monster. I'm an absolute monster. Is what she's showing.
Solo ride at this point. I mean, 143. There's no way. There's no This is gone.
Special terrain, the gravel, right? Which she just slaps down a steamroller. So you're looking at a rider who's world class, and I mean, her numbers are continuing to be phenomenal out here. This is going to go over 2 minutes at this point. I don't know, 35K. When's the last time that we saw a solo breakaway hold on to win by 2? So 2 factors here, folks. 1, Haley Smith is all that. This is a platinum
Simmons,
standard
Haley
athlete.
Simmons.
Haley Simmons, I'm sorry. But the other thing is, it's really gotten tactical back in that chase group. Um, Everybody's got eyeballs on each other, and these two factors really play out to what could be over a 2-minute gap today.
Big gap. On the right hand side of the screen, left hand side of the screen, open EMEA W Eastern 1. The 12:45 Eastern going to be taking off in just a few moments here. As they do, we'll be jumping in. That's going to be the men's A category. 45 starters I'm seeing on ZwiftPower.com. It looks like maybe a few more than that have jumped in here at this point. As things are starting to load up for them. 1 minute to the start of that. And we will catch the initial sprints for that category as they do take off. 56 seconds to the start. Haley Simmons off the front within the women's A's. The women's B is about to take off, but let's make sure that we do catch the start of this. I'll start looking to populate as well the current standings for this race, Dave. But I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, to be honest, it's really been great racing. This season has been so much fun, and today we really, you take your eyeballs, especially with the course that we're racing on here. Chasing the Sun has it all, no doubt. So you have your hands full on a day like today there, but we're just about to launch one race, the women's A's. This is the solo breakaway from Haley Simmons that we've been watching, the masterclass from Haley out here today. I doubt we see anything quite like this, because the situation where you have such a strong rider on a team that just hasn't been able to collect points throughout I think it's really been attendance has been the reason for why they're sitting where they are on the table. But Haley Simmons, one of the best riders on one of the teams that just hasn't been a factor, which creates a very unique scenario. But these guys are already sprinting here.
Yeah, taking off real quickly here, and they have to, Dave, in order to be involved at the front end of this race. It's full tilt boogie here. Hans Jacobs now, it looks like, and Pierre now as well. LPT to the front. Hexagon have some riders in here. Giant CC is represented. Veritas, some familiar names, that's for sure.
You know, this one, Nathan, is not going out as hard as some that we've seen today. Every race has a different plot line, and this one is going to be slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit different than what we've seen, because I think that they are, knowing. I think they're knowing that you go too early, Dave, here, and you can find yourself quickly uninvolved in just the lead out, man. I mean, there's so much high-powered athletes in here, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to just swarm you at the line. The timing on this has to be absolutely perfect as they head into this first alley sprint.
Cedric Richard, we saw Cedric racing yesterday in a Race Like a Champ in the Z Racing Series that we cover on Mondays. And here we go, sprint engages. We are locked and loaded. This is not a drill. Big-time bike racing back here in McCurry Islands as they slalom their way through the spectators.
Don, nicely timed here from Don. I think he might have done it here. Ooh, Hexagon, but it's going to be Almdo from Callis. Nope, it's going to be Don. Nicely done. Callis has got a lot of big riders, a lot of big names here from Callis.
Actually, even though Ruben Daunt for Hexagon will take top points by our estimation, that was all about Callis. They had 5 riders in the top 10, Nathan. Massive statement.
We'll look at these in 1 second. Sorry, Dave. Real quickly, I do want to highlight there's a lot going on, obviously. And so let's jump right over to Haley Simmons as she's about to take those first across the line points. And the cap is in the background. First time he's spotted. What? Haley Simmons.
There he is.
She conjured him up. That's what happened there, Dave. It was all about the watts. He was just there to celebrate the reality of Haley Simmons. Now behind though, Dave, there's definitely something going on with this ladies here. 11 seconds now. Abus Synergy. It's going to be Todd. It's going to be Katie Hill, the Zwift Academy finalist. We've got Harper there now as well for Aeonian going up the road. Synergy's on the chase. Stern's there as well. 11 seconds back. But I think this may be starting to tell us what's going to happen in the back end of this race with 2 Aeonian going across. Well, maybe not going across, but at least getting a break, because that's a 152 gap. Simmons is gone.
They're not going across, but let's just say that there's two different bike races going. Actually, there's three different races going on because what Aeonian is doing, Nathan, is solidifying their position on top of the table. They've been perfect through the first four races. This would make it 5 for 5, and that's looking pretty good for them. Katie Hill is one of the best esports racers actively racing right now. As you can see her in the Zwift Academies we were talking about, she's up there with her teammate Leonie Harper, who's been tremendous. So this looks really good for Aeonian. Now, the story for me then, Nathan, is how about BL13 and Swedish Swifters as synergy? How big of a threat would they be to come into third place overall? This is going to be, again, Harper. Now, the Aeonian rider, they're both out of the United Kingdom when you talk about Hill and Harper, but wow, what an effort from Leonie Harper right now.
I think Harper is going to be taking FTS and second on FAL. Everybody learn from Harper right here. Look at where she just pushed that steamroller, that gap she got. There was also a good kick to the line. Hill now comes across for that third place points and probably some more FTS as well. So that's really great to see. Nicely done by Aeonian. Zarheed now from SC trying to make a chase, it looks like, to take the next points across the line. It's going to be Hedrick from WLC, London, SC now starting to stack a little bit up toward the front, Dave, but going to be a tough one to challenge Aeonian today.
Yeah, it is. And so, I mean, I'm even more looking at how do they directly compare to BL13. And do they have 4 riders in this group where there's 3 BL? Well, look at that. BL13, that is really critical here that they close down that gap. If BL13, they want to stay level with the number of riders in this group. BL13 might even have 5. I might need to get my eyes checked here. Look at that, coming right back to the group and then going through. BL13 came to race today, no question. As I think we're even up now. Wahoo Cole here. This is such a great group to watch race out here with so many teams that have the depth. That's Katy Perry, the Wahoo Cole rider that we're looking at. So you got the 2 Katies that have been so effective out here. Katie Hill on Aeonian and Katy Perry here on Wahoo Cole. Going back now, Nathan, looks like we've got a solo attack in the men's A race, and that's going to be another points railway is what they're coming up to. Can he hold on?
Is he going to do it? He attacked up over the top of the little punch into this railway sprint. Dave, it's right to the line. It's kind of, Dave, the speed just wasn't there. Geldines is going to make it happen, it looks like. Callis with 2. And Dave, wow. 27-14, Hexagon take the fastest through segment. Love tiles there, but Geldines take the first across the line for Callis, Dave. It's adding up all over the place. I hear we might be getting some points data coming through. We'll see what we can do about that. Not going to make any promises just as of yet, but we'll see what we can start bringing in. There's a lot of copy and pasting that has to happen if we're going to get that. But we'll see what happens here in just a moment. But Dave, look at the separation that starts to happen. You know, a counterattack, if you can, over the top here, sometimes might be that's the Haley Simmons move, I think. But I'm not sure that we're going to be able to see that here.
Well, so Kalish, the Norwegian team, dominating in the early going, though. Really good start for them. They come in as the top team, and they're showing you why they have been throughout the season. They've got a tremendous amount of experience in the Zwift Grand Prix. Riders like Zeldnis will be getting ready for Zwift Games. And that's certainly noteworthy, Nathan, that now that countdown, we're inside of really basically the final week until Zwift Games are here. I know excitement has just been just off the charts out there, as there's so much to look forward to with that. And having peak form right now, well, if you crack that code, certainly a good start.
Jumping across to the chase group, looking to bring back Leonie as well as Hill and Todd. Simmons with 2:06, Dave. She's got 2 minutes and 6 seconds on this pack. Man, this is an amazing ride from Haley Simmons. Absolutely loving it from the Movistar rider. Getting ready for her gravel season, most likely. Great to see here. Now, all back together. Big points scored up and over the top, though, for Aeonian on the tempo. KOM. Abus Synergy still involved there. As you can see, it's going to be WLC that drove the pace to bring things back, though, as it's all glued back together. Plenty of racing, though, left. They've got 9K or so still left, Dave.
Yeah, so and the points at the finish line are massive, and their importance you really can't undersell that. There's really not many points left. This is such an interesting course that they're racing on out here, chasing the sun, where so much intensity at the beginning, Nathan. Then by the time you get into the Temple KOM, that long slog up to the top there, well, this is where they are now, back on their way to the finish line, mostly downhill or flat, but just one more point scoring opportunity. That's going to be that tower sprint reverse. And that, much like we've got a sprint that comes incredibly close to the start and another sprint really close to the finish.
Well, as you see on the back here on the downhill, you can see you can get plenty of rest as they get up into that 58 kilometers per hour or so. Definitely a nice place on course, Dave. I think a lot of riders just going to be thinking about how to get the least amount of energy expended through these sections, Dave. Goes to show how quickly things come back on the downhills if nobody's really putting any kind of serious effort in. The roll through of the speed from these riders, just, I mean, they ate into like a 15 to 20 second gap within just a K or two, just on that downhill section through the dirt. So I think, though, they wanted to come back to this group. They knew it was inevitable. There was no reason to really work together to, well, that's interesting. Dave, Aeonian didn't work to keep a group away that's got numbers on them. That's actually really interesting to me. I'm a little surprised by that they did not continue on. Do you think the writing was on the wall a little bit for them because of the numbers here?
No, I'm surprised as well, actually. But who knows? Yeah, I mean, that is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought for sure that we were going to see something a little bit more. I thought that we would just see a little bit more of an effort there to try and perhaps stay away, but no go there.
So I guess we're kind of back to that original storyline then of BL13 versus Swedish Swifters. Now, when you talk about the season-long battle that these teams have had and how close they are in the fight for second, Aeonian doesn't seem too concerned one way or another, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, well, no worries there. No worries there. I think Aeonian. Well, I mean, that's the weird thing. Is like I would be slightly. I get. Why aren't they concerned though? That's my question here. Like, isn't there?
Well, is it mathematical for them? So they've got two riders here in this front group, right?
Yeah.
And so even if they take second and third, because first is gone, I don't think anybody would imagine that they could catch our leader. So I'm just kind of thinking, if you can only get second and third in this group, is it because you can't beat them anyways? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, or perhaps they just knew, like, look, we're not going to stay away. It's too much of an effort.
It's just not our day.
It's too much of an effort. We're not going to be able to stay away from such a strong group behind us. So let's go back and take our risks, with what we can do with not wasting that energy. Use the energy where we know it will make the most impact, and trying to stay off the front from this group, it's not going to have the impact you're looking for. I think that's really what it was
help
about.
Our teammates, and it wouldn't. The only way they can get more points is if their teammates rejoin this group.
There's that as well. That's a good point.
Right, and so maybe they're like, hey, if we sit on the back, maybe our teammates come back up. I'm not exactly sure where they are. It's a little hard to tell. It's not a huge problem for them because if they get third, fourth, or fifth, what it does is take away the perfect season that they've had. And I don't think that that's really possible for them to hold on to that now because either BL13 or Swedish Swifters are going to win this race today, is my guess. I'm looking at what we've got.
Look at that.
Points.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that makes it even. Well, so where's Polona Itkin? That's the question. Polona must have had some type of a.
Polona got dropped actually on the climb, which that's a big deal for Polona Itkin to get dropped on the climb. I mean,
so for me, I'm guessing she had some kind of a dropout.
Here she is, 33rd currently. Yeah, she's still out on course, 33rd place here. But
Yeah, but
Icken
that's
here, not where she's usually at. And then Jamie Lee Wright here, she's back in 29th place. So that climb really put a lot of the riders out of contention here that you'd usually see perhaps up toward the front end of this race, actually.
I'm going to say that the Polona Itkin factor, something must have happened there that's really surprising. But at this point now, really looking good for BL13, obviously. Not only are they well positioned in this group, but they've had a tremendous run so far. I mean, look at the way they've been collecting points with Pruitt, Fox, and Stern. It sounds like a law firm, but it's really just a points gathering machine there. It's really not even close today.
Yeah,
Nathan.
that's pretty much
This
just domination from
BL13.
them. They've completely dominated. BL13 on fire today so far. Now, I'm not sure if like this has updated with the tempo. Is this with the tempo KOM in there?
Wait,
I'm just going to double check here real quick.
And also, how can Haley Simmons only have 6 points? So she has to have collected more FALs than that.
Yeah,
just
maybe
based on
this is maybe it's waiting on updating here too. That may be what's going on there. But I would be really surprised if that's all she's got for FAL. She should have way more than that.
Possible. We've seen her. I mean, just one FAL is 10 points.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, like, what exactly is going on there? Not sure. Maybe we're gonna have to wait on those points actually for being correct. So,
Uh-oh. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
What's that?
On the points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's too bad.
So happy to see the points.
I'm happy to see them, and then I'm like, oh, man. Like, I'm like, yeah, great. Yeah. Oh, they're not. Okay.
Oh, they're corrupt. Darn it. Oh, well. All right, we'll get it. So, one thing that I can guarantee you is that this woman is a rock star.
Yeah, I mean, Haley's got 1, 2, 3. That's 30 points minimum, right? Like, so.
We had her 4, so.
Yeah. Well, she didn't take Railway Sprint or Alley Reverse. So those two she did not take. But she took Country Sprint, Tower Sprint, and KOM, and the Tempo KOM. So those are all hers for sure as she comes to the line. So that's a total of 30 points. So that's definitely not the correct on FAL, as we're only seeing 4. That doesn't make any sense that she would score 4 even. Like,
she might have picked up 4 like at the first.
Early on? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Now that's a good point. Somewhere in the early on segments. So.
But either way, she's definitely the woman of the hour. I'd even say woman of the day with the riding at this point that we've seen from Haley Simmons. So the movie star rider out here getting a ride on. That's appropriate. That's from me too, Haley.
You should log on to your companion app so I can just see.
Can you see a ride on and say, hey, there's a ride on. I also, I second that. Ride on.
This is the men's A category on the right-hand side. We've got these. This is an interesting day for racing, Dave, the way that this ends up playing out, because you have these like lulls, these giant lulls at times.
Big gap. But I mean, when you look at how not complaining either, but there is a lot happening at the beginning. Then really the main feature to the middle part of the race.
What is going on back here? Oh, they just had that sprint here, and I think BL13 with Fox taking it out again, Dave. BL13 are on fire today. They have just been really, really impressive.
Certainly the most impressive team performance that we've seen out here and chasing the sun. And they're down to it now. So that group over on your the split screens now over on the right-hand side, that's going to be Haley finishing up, taking the win.
237 up. 237, Dave.
Wow.
Woo. You were right. You were like, remember what you said? It could be a minute and a half. It could be 2 minutes. It could be 7 seconds. She can get caught. Well, look at Hill. Hill says, forget it. I don't want another one of those sprints with BL13. I'm out of here.
I'm really looking forward to watching Zwift Academy later today. And this woman is part of the broadcast. Good to see you out here again, Katie Hill. Crushing souls. Will she hold on? That gap was so large, Nathan, that this is going to be quite a bike race. It's Doyle now coming over the top. It looks like Doyle, the synergy rider, making her mark. Todd, excuse me.
Yeah, Hill trying to follow Fox now. BL13 getting involved. Dave, this is left, right, and center. over and over again. People just jumping across, knowing that perhaps riders don't have a whole lot in the legs here. Harper now goes. Leone, she was the one that came over the top of the Temple KOM. Great to see this kid from Leone late, and she's going to go to get the Fox's wheel. That's going to pull her across, Dave. This is really well set up from Leone now.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, it was so calm through the middle part of this race, but now it is going to be ballistic. It's BL13 doing a really good job here. They've had a great day. They just need to finish this one off, and it looks like they're starting to move their chess pieces into the right places here as we're down to 1K. 1K to go. Well, it's a brutal finish.
It really is. This is great to see the way that BL13 are playing this, but I think they faded just a little bit here at this point. As Hill says, no, forget it. I'm going to go up and over the top. Avis Energy now trying to hold on to Katie Hill's wheel, and she's just going to drive the pace here. I think she's settling perhaps for a third place, saying, look, I'm not getting caught by that pack. I'm not going to want to sprint with BL13 to the line. They've done it over and over again to me at this point. Just going to drive this home. If Todd takes me out, well, better hold on to the wheel.
Well, as Haley Simmons is just pouring her second recovery shake, this is going to be the fight for silver here. Is Katie Hill bringing it home? Will it be enough?
Oh, it looks like the Avis Synergy rider might get the better of her here at this point. But, Dave, we've seen it time and again. We've seen the catch made at the line, Dave. Here comes London. They'll open up. There's still 2 seconds now. Jahid now coming quickly, Dave. Oh, I don't know if it's going to be able to happen here for Katie Hill. She's got to continue on. She's going to do it. She is going to do it. 7 watts per kilogram. That arrow power up, making it happen. Burrito.
Todd coming for her.
She's coming. She might do it. I actually did it. Jahid now comes on through for 4th. It's going to be Pruitt. Wow, Dave, BL13 not really involved in the top 5 there, though. Interesting.
I still think it's enough for BL13 because the points they picked up along the way, that wasn't a horrible finish, and no other team was putting 2 or 3 riders in front of them. It was a mix of other teams. So BL13 should be all right.
Country Sprint coming up for our men's race in just a moment. We do also have oh my gosh, Dave, it's just race on top of race on top of race. I thought I'd put enough separation between them all, but I definitely didn't. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those days where we'll also always have a narrative. We'll always have something to look like, something to kind of tell the story about, but it'll be separated out enough. Dave, there's so much racing going on. It's like, wow.
We're putting 10 pounds of racing into a 5-pound bag today.
Yeah. The next ladies race kicks off in just 5 minutes, so we'll look to get across to them as quickly as we possibly can. We also have the B women finishing up as well. That's been quite the battle, but the country sprint for the men is coming up here. We're going to stick with them for now as we're in with a little bit of a break off the front, actually, Dave. I saw this earlier. It's going to be far up. Far up as well as Steele. Steele was going and Far up jumped across, and they did this from way, way out. This happened a while ago. They've been looking to make this break happen kind of from the get-go after the initial sprints here. So A Steele, Far up here. It's going to be Pinto from Veritas leading the chase out, but that's not really much of a chase at 5.7 on the front here. Veritas only at 2.9, Dave. I think they're going to get these FALs.
All right. It probably would be useful to take a look at how the standings are again for this group, just to refresh our memories here. Thank you. As Kalish with 73 points, only a 2-point advantage on the Cheesecake Crew, Nathan, and they only have 1 point on LPT, who are sitting 1 point ahead of Gran Fondo Team.be. So this is one of, if not the closest top 4 that we've got out there. So you can see how stacked this one is and how competitive it's going to be. As Team NLA sitting in 5th, Veritas in 6th. I don't even know how to say that. ZU4R Ace in 7th. Am I missing something? Does that say something cool and I just don't see it?
U4R. No, I don't know. I don't know what's happening there either.
I'm not getting the code right.
Yeah.
So Team Inox, Elite in 8th, and then Hexagon sitting in 9th. But Nathan, this is as competitive as it gets when you take a look at leagues coming up on Country Sprint right here. Just
Yeah,
another
these two
couple
are
hundred
kind of
meters.
playing a little bit of a game with it as well here, Dave, and it's a dangerous game. They're gonna do it. 7 seconds. They definitely are leaving it right to the line. Farb's gonna go 11 watts per kilogram. There's a drafting power up, but Steels just doesn't have it there. So Jeff Farb's gonna take this down. Not gonna be FTS, just FAL, but that's what he was fighting for. Steel now. It's gonna be Pinheiro now, followed up by Pereira. Off now from Callis. The fastest through segment's gonna go to Geldines with a 6 second 679. Dave
Wow.
6.79. Ooh.
Really familiar names in this group as well. As we take a look at Zwift Grand Prix caliber athletes racing through here, speed flat out flying as they regroup just a little bit after that last sprint through the middle part of the race. But next up becomes the main climbing segment of the day out here as they're now out in Umazi. Beautiful, beautiful countryside.
What if they're gonna calm right on down for us here in just a moment? As I have a feeling, most likely it's gonna be a little bit more chill as they look forward to that Tempo KOM. That's one of the main sections out on course. Everybody's going to be thinking about driving the pace a little bit, though. Steele and Farup, I mean, what they did, we might see a continuance of that again, though.
Well, yeah, a bit of a reset. I'm starting to wonder. I mean, Kalish has been so strong out here today, but they've got to be careful. As there's so many teams, we're down to just two more racers. Well, this is the fifth of 6 races in the season, so they've almost got it where they want it, but still, looking at the action here on the front, they are trying to split this group now.
Yeah, Veritas off the doll now covering, it looks like. Cedric Richard from Hexagon there as well. So now as they take off, it's going to be a chase coming in from Giant CC. Oliviera is there as well. Geldines now. Callis, though, with Hexagon now going off the front.
All right, so let's see at this point now. Gap at 2 seconds here. They're not going to let him go. Actually,
yeah,
that
and this
peloton.
is an FAL play. I mean, that's the only thing that could really be going on here, right? Is just some sort of an FAL play to try and get away in order to take that Tempo KOM sprint. I mean, to go at this point, that really is the only thing that could be up for grabs.
Woof. And these are the athletes that could pull it off. I mean, this high caliber. Cedric Richard has been in fuego out here lately. Fellow from Veritas also. This is interesting here.
Yeah, they're continuing on. 5.1 watts per kilogram. Doesn't look like they're backing off. I thought perhaps this was just going to be, no big deal. Bring it right on back. But as Fellow continues on, I just don't know if it's going to pay off for what the kind of effort that they're putting in prior to the dirt. It's just really brave. It really is brave. Now it does get brought back. There it is, all back together. But driving the pace, is he setting up a teammate? Perhaps that's the only thing I could really think of.
You have to think that. You really do. I mean, what they're doing is just controlling the pace. Here comes Kalish, though. Let's see what they want to do with this.
I think it's going to be a reset. I think it's just a reset is what they're really looking for. Nobody's going to be really going anywhere, and they're going to look forward to the dirt here in just a moment. As to the front now, it's going to be Giant taking over as they make their way through the main, I'd say, calm before the storm out here today.
Temple KOM, I guess that's really what everyone is waiting for now.
Look at this woman. That's Elise Gallegos. She just went ballistic just a moment ago. I'm gonna get a replay of that here, Dave.
She'll take the 10.
Yeah, that was right from the get-go here for the ladies as they are getting out on course. Well done for Elise Gallegos as she'd made a big jump actually to try to take that down. Here it is from way out here, Dave. And usually you get caught on that initial kick, but she went at 12 watts per kilogram. Vicky Whitelaw trying to bring that back for Aeonian, unable to do so. And WLC, I'm gonna see if I can get some league standings. I have a feeling they've been the dominant force for this women's Western EMEA. as I think they took Leah Thorvaldsen's here today. Speaking of Zwift Academy, Dave, she's jumping in.
There you go. The original Swift Academy winner, Leah Thorvaldsen. It seems like a long time ago. It also doesn't seem like a long time ago. Really love that Leah has remained so active out in the world of racing, though. So this is going to be a really fun race to watch. That's for sure. As they just get going at this point, I would have to say as well, if you're looking to watch the Zwift Games coming up over the next few weeks, watch out for Elise Gallegos. That's a name that I don't think she's going to shock anybody now as her story is out there, but definitely it's put a gold star next to that name for sure. So Aonian Aces have got Wahoo Lacole Vitesse 1 point back. Doesn't get much closer than that, folks. So get ready for a battle royale out here today. Is BL13 in full effect, sitting in third now on 73 points. I Race Like a Girl in fourth. They've got a 2-point advantage here on Team Castelli, presented by Elite Women. And then Coalition Arete, rounding out our top 6 teams. This is a really fun group to watch, so we'll have a chance to check in with them a lot out here today. What's crazy is, Nathan, how quickly your first 2 point scoring opportunities happen on a day like today. You go right from alley into railway here.
Yeah, it's real quick, and then it calms right on down because there is no points at the top of the rooftops climb. And so because of that, things tend to kind of like become like, are you going to use this for a breakaway? Is everyone just kind of watch each other? Haley Simmons says, I'm going to use it for a breakaway, goes away. But that was neutralized because Movistar not really involved in the racing for the league overall. But this is a different situation now with Gad across. Dave Kessler looks like, as well as Jewett, now trying to do a little bit of something about this in this. I mean, because she could stay away and grab points, Dave. So it looks like I Race Like a Girl, though. Dave, that's interesting. I Race Like a Girl are taking over. They're currently in 4th place overall. I would think they'd be covering Castelli rather, or BL13, but instead they look to do the work. So good on them. Not sure that they want to be doing that as Gad continues. This is a massive effort coming in from Gad.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great point, Nathan, about responsibility and what teams are taking it and what teams aren't. As Gad is hit hard now, extending this out to a 10-second advantage. And I don't know that we'll see anything quite like we saw earlier from Haley Simmons, taking a 2-minute, 37-second advantage to the finish line today. But Gad,
I think this is all in
best.
from Gad. I think this is all in from Lucy Gad for these points. I think this is planned, that she's like, I'm not getting points most likely at Temple KOM. I'm getting these right here, right now, all in for the team. And you guys, everyone else, reserve what you have and maybe grab the FAL or the FTS points through this next section. But I'm going FAL from way out, and she's done it, Dave.
Yeah. Would you call this Leroy Jenkins?
Well, kind of.
Kind of. A slightly disruptive. Yep.
Kind of. But she's successful. So
right. Well, Leroy Jenkins isn't, right. So that's the difference here.
That's the
big successful difference. Leroy Jenkins type move. But good for her. She'll get him too. 10 points going to Gad. It worked. Now let's see what she can do here. Wow. Her team goes 1, 2, 3, playing off of that Lucy Gad move. Lucy Gad, a tactical masterpiece from her out here for Wahoo Lacole. And that's a team that's sitting 1 point out of the lead. If that comes down to it, Lucy Gad, you might have just unlocked hero status. That's a replay that we're looking at of the points that Lucy picked up, and then behind her teammates really had her back. I think they might have gone 2nd and 4th, but we'll look at the back-end API on that, get those points scored, and move on. But Wahoo Lacole, what a start.
Watch out for Elise Gallegos. Her sprint is coming on like a freight train. I am really impressed where she has taken things. I think Gallegos is very motivated, Dave, and this is an athlete that I don't think we've seen the best of her yet. I really think.
Nathan, what's crazy is what we're seeing is better and better from her every week. Right?
Exactly.
she started good, and she's on her way to actually she started great, and she's on her way to incredible. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait to watch how the Zwift games play out. There's so many athletes that really put their heart and soul into being ready for that one. It's yeah, there's a lot of things to be excited for in the world of Zwift, that's for sure. I don't know if you can be excited if you're in the Temple climb though.
Michael
It's got to be just
Infant
hurt.
Terrible. I don't. That's an This
Enfant
guy
terrible,
is
the terrible
definitely
child, huh?
he's like yeah. I mean, he is definitely making everybody feel that way. I think right now as he pushes at the front.
He's not making me feel terrible. So that's looks like they just went by one of those little free libraries right there that you see all over the place. I wonder if that's an international thing. But back to the front of the bike race, Nathan, as he's putting the hurt on him. Do you think there's a free library on McCurry?
Yeah, I think that
Probably.
was one. That was probably what that. Well,
That could
maybe I
be.
don't know what
Yeah.
that was, but that's a good spot there, Dave. And let's see if we can find Mister Kappa as they come up from
Oh,
the
it's
top here.
Kappa's. Right. Yeah. He
It's
probably
it's
keeps
the
food
Kappa
in there. Yeah.
Library. It's the Kappa
Right.
Library. It's where he gets his philosophy. There he is off in the back end as he tortures everyone. It's gonna be Yeldins trying to come across. Whoa, gonna get third here. Nice
Now,
kick here
is
from
that
Harvard
FAL
Yeldins.
behind? Is that going to get FAL or FTS or both,
That's a good
actually?
question. Let's see what we got
Yep.
here as over the top. Got no data at the moment, so we'll see if I can bring in some data here for the top of the
I
Temple
bet you.
KOM.
I
Hmm.
bet you that if you are able to check, we'll see that Harvard Geldings gets
No,
the.
Geldins. Let's see here. Geldins, if I move forward here and find him, I go ahead and select him. And, well, now it disappeared on me. But I think he was a little further back, actually. Interesting enough. Geldins takes third, it looks like. It's a
Okay.
4:53 for GFTBE captain, whoever that is. Let's see if I can see CAP and name somewhere here for, but it is going to
Huh.
be, it's going to be Latham. Yeah, it's going to be Latham. Pete
There
Van
you go.
Latham that did take that down.
All right, so that's the FTS. We should really quickly, if you, this is a really bad day to try to explain how the ZRL works, right? Or maybe it's a good day, but it's got everything. That's a good way to put it. We have the FAL. That's first across the line. Those points happen a few times out here today at the alley, the railway, countryside. We're right now looking at Temple KOM heading into Tower Sprint, but there's all kinds of segments where you can either earn points by being first over the line, just scoring that like a regular top 10, or the segments where it's fastest through that few 100-meter long segments. Usually you'll see, or you always see, that they start with a flashing line or dots across the road, and then that initiates that segment. But we are right now hightailing our way down this dirt road descent here. If it's daylight and you're in chasing the sun, that means you're in Umazi. This is McCurry Islands. A couple of years ago, this was introduced into the world of Zwift. And Cedric Richard, a couple of weeks ago, he started really coming to my attention, Nathan, as one of the top Zwifters out here, as Richard flat out flying right now on this
Yeah, and
downhill dirt
he
descent.
was on the chase, Dave, and then instead of just chasing and catching, he went straight over the top. Straight over the top of them and just continued on. He just wants to drive this pace here. He's got a teammate right behind in this chase group for him. Now they are going to weld this back together here, it looks like. Pereira here from LPT, he sees the writing on the wall that this might be going away here. Kicks up into 8 watts per kilogram. That's going to drag the rest of the pack most likely right back into this. We're going to have a lead group now at this point of about 13 riders. Harvard, though, no, off the Towle. Connection issues, that's not good to see. Dave, that might be struggle bus here now because I have a feeling that off the Towle now is perhaps off the back not going to see the front of this race again simply because of that little bit of connection issue there he had.
Yeah, Christian Oftal, one of the top riders here as well. That is a real bummer there. Yeah, well, you're going to see now that how hard it is to rejoin a group that is full gas out there. If anyone could do it, it would be the Kalish rider Oftal. So back on the women's side of things, you can see that Aeonian and Wahoo Lacole, these were the top two teams, only 1 point separating them. So they'll either most likely be tied heading into the final race of the season, or see a 1 point, or excuse me, I guess it would be a 2 point advantage there for Aeonian. But wow, they are having at it right now as Gallegos here on the front, looking to take top points here. Wow. This is going to be.
She's just trying to break this. There's no, Dave, the next point.
It's a long way to countryside.
And they came over the top. Her and Cecilia Hansen came over the top of the climb, and they're just trying to break the pack. They've gained 6 seconds. Now Beta's now pushing the pace of the front, trying to ruin this for them. As it's Breeley at 6 watts per kilogram. Kessler's there as well. Now the drafting power is being thrown down. 37 kilometers per hour as Gallegos was trying to pull Haley Simmons. She saw what happened, and I think she was like, look, I might be able to do something. Look at this. She goes again, Dave.
Wow, Gallegos is really being disruptive out here. There's a lot of reasons why. I mean, she clearly has got this insane form right now. And I think for her to really, really push it, she's got to race this way. Incredibly aggressive. I mean, she's throwing everything at them out here. Earlier, I mean, you can see that Aeonian is trying to cover these moves, but at this point now, it's going to be Daniela Estrate who seems to have gotten that call to action here, as Estrate, the Romanian rider, getting up there to try to shut this down from Gallegos. Now, it's more than just Elise Gallegos. If you want to talk about team tactics out here, is Aeonian kind of taking the bait here, Nathan? Is Elise Gallegos by herself softening up this Aeonian team, leaving them vulnerable for Wahoo Lacole to attack again? But now it looks like they're coming over the top. What a race this is. Really, really wild.
Yeah, Gallegos, she lit a fire early on and just continues to stoke it, it feels like. And
I feel like,
where is the rest of Wahoo Lacole? They're just sitting in. They're like, okay.
That's the problem. The follow-through now, right? And there they are. So Gallegos, Nathan, well, she lights that fire.
Is there going to be a counter, or is there going to be like what's going to be the play here? I wonder.
Well, I thought it's so early, and it's such a long way to the countryside sprint that I don't know exactly what Elise Gallegos was doing there. What was her methodology?
Mm-hmm.
She's so strong. And, I mean, is she just playing with them?
I think this is it. No, Joe Patterson now goes over the top. So that's what was going on here. Simnick shuts it down at the front. That's also a Zwift Academy finalist over on WLC. She shuts things down on the front, continues to slow things down. So I think that's exactly what's going on here, is trying to just make sure that nobody's really pressing on the front of this bike race now besides WLC. They want to get somebody out front. That's what they continue to throw coal at this fire here over and over again. Estrate, for some reason, Dave, this is not like Daniela. I've not seen this from her very much, but looks like Estrate is completely interested in getting into a break today, covering it now, and it's Aeonian who continues to cover over and over and over again, and they have to, don't they, Dave?
Yeah, the next time country sprint is, that's around 17K in. So we're still more than 5K. If that's going to be BL13 coming over the top. Yeah, I mean, so when you look at how we score this, it's team-based. The situation right now as they head into the arcade is you want to have representation up on the front of the race at this point, but certainly your top priority shouldn't be controlling everything right now. You can let the race play out a little bit here. I think that's kind of what's happening now. You just, if Elise Gallegos attacks and goes clear, Aeonian just by instinct has to respond to that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, now Simnick, though, goes to the front, Dave. Wahoo Lacole are not playing games. This is absolutely amazing to see. I'm loving what I'm seeing from WLC. And I think, Dave, the reason for this is they have to take the race to Aeonian Aces. They have to beat them today here. Now, you could sit back and wait for opportune moments and kind of play a little bit more like a sniper, aim at directly, wait in and for that exact moment here, Dave. But I think they just want to go ballistic at the front.
It seems to me like that the technique over the seasons of ZRL is the teams that really believe in their finishing power will be conservative through the first half of the race and then count on all those points at the finish line that they know will take them to the top of the table. That's not the case here. Wahoo Lacole is 1 point back. So if they finish 1 spot, I should say, ahead of Aeonian today, the two teams will be tied heading into the last week of racing, meaning the team that gets the better will win the season. And that's actually a pretty decent scenario from what we've seen out here so far today, of likely scenario. It looks like BL13, Nathan, is just far enough back with only 6 teams in this league that there's really not enough points, enough real estate left. But now it's going to be Aeonian attacking, trying to get up to Joe Patterson, who's the whole time we've been talking here, the last few minutes, Joe Patterson's been holding on to around a 4 or 5 second advantage. Now it's going to come down a little bit. Daniela Estrate should make contact, but Lucy Collins here is going to make her play now. So Wahoo Lacole seems to have an answer for everything that Aeonian is doing out here, Nathan. I really, really like the way that they're taking this race to them.
Yeah, this is really well done here, I think, from Wahoo Lacole. I'm liking what we're seeing here from them, and they've got 2 seconds now, but there are 2 Aeonian riders. See, they're covering every time Vicky Whitelaw gets involved. Now it's going to be Monali Keller as well going across, it looks like, to get involved at the front end of this race, and that would put 3 up there, which means that WLC need to get another rider into that. And then, Dave, if they get into like a 3v3 of 2v2 kind of situation, then they just have to watch each other. Then it's just right. Okay, now what?
Right, exactly. I mean, so yeah, you start doing the math to play the numbers games. Let's take a look at there's Carly Johan moving up here. I Race Like a Girl has got a lot of talent on their squad. They're going to have some good seasons. There's no question that they're competitive in this group. Just not quite there. They're just one move away, I would say. So we take a look at the peloton together here for the first time in a little while. Nathan?
All back together. We've got so much racing going on, everybody. This is one of the hottest races from the get-go, though, that's for sure. These ladies putting on quite the show for us. I absolutely love the way that they're making this race. Quickly, just want to highlight that we will be jumping across for our final race on the day. We're in with the Farm Watts, Hayden Pucker and crew taking off here at this point. And this is going to be the EMEA Northern 1 is what we will be jumping in with for our final as they kick off. We'll see how this plays out for this first K sprint, and maybe catch a rail wheel as well. And Pucker usually not one to take these early sprints, though, I don't think.
No, but he is one to do something like what we saw from Haley Simmons, right? A long solo breakaway, but maybe not with this group in this situation. There's Daniel Jemrosik up there as well. These guys are going to ease into it. Well, for them, this is easing into it.
Quintana, be on the watch out for him from the noobs. Here goes Gordon now. Tarek is here. It's going to be the Beasts. The Beast now. Nice little kick here. But ATG in the eye. I think he might be able to get 15 watts per kilogram. What? Baston now, will he hold on? I think he's got this, Dave. Well, Bromwell here, the mutant, now coming quickly. Might be able to get the better of him. No, it's going to be a second place for him. Baston, nice kick that did go across the line first, just ahead as he is caught there. Blomqvist, I think, has to settle for third or fourth.
In that ZRL Champions helmet there. Nice way to start off race 5 here. Wow. I mean, think about that. That's like doing a neutral drop in a Dodge Dart, right? I mean, like, to go from the start line to making 16 watts per kilo within 1K, that is brutal.
Look at the separation here, Dave. This is like, I mean, it's not totally separated, but I mean, it's early. Like, there's definitely, it's definitely like, hey, attention. Probably not going anywhere. If you know your Zwift craft, you can kind of like hang out, not be too concerned. Look at how quickly The sprint winner was that which rider was this? This rider right here, Basson, going backwards quickly all the way to the back. That was an all-in sprint. I mean, he was like 1,200 watts or so for quite a while there. I mean, he's got a real. That's one of those sprints you're not sure you're going to recover from in time for even making it into the final.
That's a great example, Nathan, of where a counterattack could really put some riders in trouble, right? I mean, if you really wanted to, it's more disruptive, almost negative racing than positive racing. But boy, could you put some guys in trouble if you were to attack right after that first sprint.
100%. Back in with the women's EMEA. You really could. I thought Pucker might have done that, but no move.
But you know, the point would be, again, as we've said so many times in the broadcast, what's the point of doing that? Right. I mean, if you could take riders out of contention for the finale in 1K, but most of those guys would fight back. It would just be a really tough moment. So, yeah, again, you make these huge efforts. You want it to have a lasting impact in the event rather than just be noteworthy, but have no effect.
Why do you think things have calmed down here, Dave? I think it's because there's a sprint coming and, there's this like middle ground you can get into, right? Where it's like, if I go from here, I'm just going to be caught by a ramp up. I need to save up for the kick. And so there's this kind of, there's not enough landscape to work with. So you get into this moment of like having to wait because it's just, it's too much if you go. Well, I speak
what happens
a little soon.
too when you have 8 riders in this group that want to slide back in the group to load up for an FTS as well, right? Just the general momentum of the group. Now that moment has passed because we're moving into a point gathering opportunity, but that it's the calm before the storm.
Joe Patterson leads. Well, look at Cecilia Hansen, 12 watt per kilogram kick from her, trying to get separation from the main group. Here comes Vicky Whitelaw as well behind. There's the open up. I think Joe's going to be caught pretty quickly here. Vicky Whitelaw with an arrow power up. She saved it for this moment. Dave, Vicky Whitelaw comes through at 62 kilometers per hour, but will be the better of it there. Simnick now for second place for FAL. Gallegos, I think, third there, Dave. What is the leaderboard
FLC,
going to say?
Wahoo Cole doing a really good job here of just stacking up points. I wouldn't say quietly, but they're not making any efforts.
Gallegos at the top, Dave. 749. Right? Simnick there.
And her teammate.
Whitelaw, that's ninth place for Whitelaw for the FTS. FAL, though, is 10 points, so still something. Now, Dave, on the men's side of things, look what happens if you go a little too early. Yeah. This is what I was talking about. And now he's just going for FTS at this point. Noren's at the front, opening things up, it looks like. But, Dave, that was the guy who took the first sprint. It shows you how much energy it just to take that kind of a sprint right from the get-go. It was all in for him. Now it's gonna be 1-2 Noren there, gonna be taking it down for Team SZ. It's gonna be Warsdale for the Rhinos, Blomqvist, then the next one.
Gotta pay the piper, Nathan. You want to make 16 watts per kilo and dominate a sprint like that in a field this strong? There is a price.
100%. Now going backwards, Blomqvist. I'm not sure Blomqvist is even going to be involved in this race any longer. Look.
It doesn't look like it. Yeah, I mean that's
190 beats per minute, not coming down. Look at how fast they're going. He's done. He's like, that's it. That's the points for the day. Dave, how many riders are going to be like that today? With how early.
So isn't this great though? That we have riders that are playing a key pivotal role for their team. That this is what we've talked about for years, about having specialized riders that show up, have a goal, they either reach it or they don't. But after efforts like that, they know that they weren't going to be making it to the Temple KOM today. Or if they do, it's going to be in another, 45 minutes from now. They probably do, because there's going to be points for everybody at the finish line today, right? So I would think that if your team's in contention, you're going to be asked to make it all the way to the line to get the points that are still there.
Good point. That is a good point. You are definitely going to be asked to continue on. You do not.
Right. No saying, hey, you're done. pull the pin
No,
and
there's
go.
good points all the way to that
Yeah,
finish line here. Sharp now, starting to push the pressure a little bit. It's
that's
good
a
to see some movement here. This has been a consideration every single time, actually. We've definitely seen plenty of pressing on at the front of this race, specifically at this section, and we've seen some getaways. Not often, but we have seen some.
At what point today did Haley Simmons attack? It was
It was right here. It was like
after,
right here. It was
right,
like right around this
in
section.
this range, right.
Yeah.
Such a unique race scenario there that doesn't exist for these guys. See a lot of feather power ups being played wisely through this sector. If you've got one, I think that would be right where you'd want to use it. Seems like many agree. Making our way up to the railway here. So
just looking to get
it's
across
really
to some of the other races here, as well as the ladies are about to set up for the next section out on course. There was a little bit of an attack that I was looking, but it got covered very quickly. So it's cover and kill over and over again across on the ladies race. In with the women, Zwift Racing League Western, now Cat 1 A's. Thorvaldsen, I haven't seen very active so far. Do you think that Leah's maybe setting up for the climb, perhaps? Not seen a lot of these attacks from her. It's been Joe Patterson. It's been Elise Gallegos. We've seen God as well taking big points on the women's side of things. The men's side of things now, we do see it is going to be Wahoo Cole with Sharp. Warsdale's off the front. The Rhino here from South Africa actually trying to pull off something that we saw from Haley Simmons, actually. 8 watts per kilogram. This is a big move. There's no points at the top here, Dave.
Yeah, this is right. A good point. The Rhino here. A lot of times when you see these attacks, it's to go snatch some points and get out in front of the group, but the next points don't come up for another 10K. So we've got a lot of real estate here in between those opportunities. So this is much more of a big picture attack.
Yeah, I think so. Tyler there from the Beast. Now, there's no points right there. He just came over the top of the KOM. There are no points now. With only 4 seconds, though. It's going to be a tough one to try and stay away here. A lot of times, Dave, the catch is easily made by the pack. Continues at 4.3 watts per kilogram. Pasqualini there from Mutants now, 2.5. A little bit of strung out there now over the top. Look at that behind, Dave. I always love to see that. Great pictures that we get when they are really pressing on, when the pack spreads out across the road like that. Look at that separation that's starting to form. Tail out just a little bit. You don't want to be caught. Look at the back of there. 4, 5, 6 riders, Dave.
Yeah, that's the worst place to be right now, without any doubt. As this is going to be a really rapid trip back down here as we are in Neokyo now, heading over to Umazi. And
Catch will be made here,
exactly
though. I think this is going to be made.
Sure why, I would agree. I'm not exactly sure what the Rhino's thought process is right now. Originally, thought maybe looking to get some company, try to get a breakaway going, but I think that ship has sailed as well here, as they're just going to make this catch, and we'll hit the reset button here in the early going.
Some of the I'm liking chat coming on through here. Turcut has an idea about what might be going on. He seems to think that you attack up and over the top of this just to soften the legs. What do you think about that, Dave?
Well, I mean that it does. It would soften his legs.
I like it, Dave. It definitely softens his legs. Oh man. So I'm gonna bring in the comment here. He's thinking that attack on the rooftop KOM is for drop the sprinters who they have sprinted 2 times back to back, and then get rid of them for the country sprint. Maybe that's what's going on there, because that's probably who's struggling.
Well, absolutely. And when you've got a rider on the ropes who consistently can beat you in sprints, that absolutely punch their ticket if you can. Although I didn't really see any riders getting dropped out of the group on that climb. were
Well,
there?
we saw those 4 riders off the back there. Yeah, there were definitely some riders. There were definitely some riders who were struggling to hang on. It looked like to me. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Now Kessler, I haven't seen her this brave in quite a while. Meredith Kessler, the moment that they hit the bottom of that climb, just went to the front and just like started smashing the watts here. Nevin covers quickly here from Coalition. It's gonna be Gallegos sitting at 5.1 watts per kilogram here, now 3.4. Gamps BL13 is there. Nevin Dodge is the one that's gonna just set the pacemaking here at the front. Now this is pacemaking. This is not attacking. Well, now up in the 6th. Once we see 6 or so, it's going to be attacking. Gallegos, though, I think waiting for her moment. Simnik is there as well. So WLC, this is where they're going to be planning for, I think, Dave. And WLC, they've got everything to gain and everything to lose on this day. If they get beat by Onion today, that is going to put a pretty good gap between them. Gallegos now on the kick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, at least Gallegos doing what she does as she's going to fly away on this climb. Now, let's see who can respond. The Norwegian, Nevin, looks like she's going to be the first rider who's going to take up that mantle. But I think at this point, at least Gallegos is going to show that she is the class of this field without any doubt.
100%. And at 6.1, Dave, this is scary watts here. I mean, this is quite the setup. 7.1, 7.2. Nevin trying to respond. Hansen trying to respond. Nobody can respond to Elise Gallegos. Wow. She is going away insanity watts here at this point. 400 watts, 450 kicks. Can she hold to the top, though, is the question, Dave. Is this...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at someone who's really coming into her own as an esports athlete, as she is going to just throw more coal on the fire at this point.
Hansen, though, 6.1 coming in from Ionian now. I mean,
strong answer.
Covering, yeah, and if anybody can answer, it's somebody who's taking a podium at Worlds, Dave. I mean, Hansen knows when to go. She has the Zwift craft. She's up against a rider right now. Gallegos is up against a rider who's got the experience, doesn't she?
Yeah, this is a great test for Elise Gallegos, to tell you the truth. To have a quality rider like Cecilia Hansen breathing down your neck, it definitely, you find out exactly how bad you want it. It looks to me like, well, now Laura Meyer moving up for PL13, but pretty even right now between Aeonian and Wahoo Lacole. So even though Gallegos on the front for Wahoo Lacole, it's going to be Aeonian's Hansen who's answering. Simonik is another one of the Zwift Academy riders there, riding for Wahoo Lacole. Back to the tête de la Côte. That's the front with Elise Gallegos. That's going to be Simonik now sitting with Hansen here.
She's just covering. She's just covering, isn't she? She's not. No, look. Oh, got a good teammate. Do you see how she came over the top and then slowed down, actually? And Hansen now not responding. Blackburn goes, okay, now Aeonian goes back to the front, Dave, but Gallegos has 10 seconds. This is getting dangerous for Aeonian, but now Aeonian might have to start thinking the team game. They have to start looking around them and going, we need to get rid of more WLC at this point if we're going to win on the day and make sure our riders are with us. Collins is still here. Simnik is still here. So WLC still have the numbers.
Shout out. And your shout out for Simnik was really on point, Nathan. She was so situationally aware of what was happening right there. She didn't give one extra watt to bring back her teammate. She left that up for the Aeonian ladies and went back into the slipstream and is preparing herself for the finale. So I got to say, that's a tremendous, tremendous race IQ we're seeing from Laura Simnik right there.
Simnik now looking to go across to Hansen. Did Simnik already use her? No, there it is. There's the power up. Yep. Now she's using it. Gallegos is almost caught, actually. And this is what I was talking about. You can bring back so much time on these final punches here at this point. Now Simnik goes up over the top. If they go 1-2, that's big points here, Dave. Oh, there it still is. The timing here. And now look, Gallegos also has 1-2. That's going to be 1-2 for Wahoo Lacole. If they have the kick, Hansen trying to respond, but I think they've done it. WLC, what a masterclass from them today.
Yeah, let's see. So Elise Gallegos is going to find out a lot about what it's like to punch at this level here, as Simnik is on some incredible form as well. We talk about that Zwift Academy, and look at this Gallegos is showing you the heart that she has. So these two, Nathan, a statement from Wahoo Lacole. Just body blow after body blow being thrown out here, and right now it's Wahoo Lacole taking a tremendous advantage. They're 1 point down in this season-long battle. It doesn't get better than what these women are putting up on the table right now. As Simnick takes top points, it's going to be her teammate Elise Gallegos coming through for second. Look at the damage they've done back to this group, Nathan. We're down to 10K of racing, a little more than that, 11K of racing remaining. Cecilia Hansen and her Aeonian team. She's got the whole there. This is incredible. Aeonian is not done yet. Aeonian
Collins was there. Collins was there. Simnick, Gallegos. Now Canson takes third on FTS. Keller. It's so stacked. This is close.
It's really down to the two.
This is so close.
I mean, at this point now, I realize BL13 is right there, and you can see they're represented in this group, but this is going to be that classic Godzilla and Mothra battle because Wahoo Lacole, this is their advantage that they have right now, but this is far from over, ladies and gentlemen. And even if they win outright here today, all that they've been able to do is tie things up. As it's not like Aeonian is giving up the ghost out here. This is going to be really fun to watch. Two leaders.
Here's the thing.
Right now.
This is tough. Dave, Collins and Blackburn have to think all about, not Blackburn, excuse me.
Collins. Where's third and fourth for Wahoo?
Is it just Collins? It's just Collins.
It's what's critical is where's the fourth place Wahoo rider? Because obviously Lucy Collins is right here, but where's their fourth place rider? Those points are going to be so important for Wahoo Lacole.
Pretty far back. Collins. It's Thorvaldsen. It's Thorvaldsen here.
So if that's fourth place points, well, she's with Louise Gamst. Actually, not so bad. A lot of weight on Leah's shoulders here today.
She needs this group
Her
to chase.
result is
She needs this
huge.
group to chase is what she needs at this point. She needs the rest of this crew to bring.
Let's just play out. I mean, Nathan, if they go 1-2 and Collins, let's say, is 6th or 7th.
Oh, Joe Patterson's here as well. Joe Patterson is here as well. But Aeonian's got everyone up front. They got Vicky Whiteball.
That's a big problem.
I mean,
even though they're not in the first and second spots, they fill in the top 10 spots. So it actually probably is Aeonian right now that is in a better spot.
She's so intelligent, Dave. 63 kilometers per hour on a downhill in the dirt. In the dirt, Dave. Like, I mean, this...
One of the best in the business, Nathan. One of the best in the business, Danielle Estrate. And if she can't bring...
Collins is getting a free ride, though. She's just going to sit. That's a really good situation, actually, for WLC in that respect. Now, how many matches are they having to burn up front here? Gallegos now pressing on. It's down to 5 seconds. Hansen now. Aeonian are on a full-on freight train chase, though.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to, looking at it from different teams' perspectives. If you're Aeonian riding at this pace here with 4 riders, that worst you're going to do would be spots 5 through 9. That's the worst you're going to do, then you're in good shape. Because they're not going to take 5 through 9. Or 5 through 8, I should say. They'll do better than that. So this is going to be Estrate now leading this chase, and it looks like they're actually going to make the catch.
Yeah, up into 55, 54 here, as you can see, Gallegos.
And
54.
you can see that catch is going to be made based on the work of Danielle Estrate, Nathan.
Yeah, Estrate's been putting in big efforts here so far. Now we see Keller here, Aeonian BLPR. Now Hansen roll through. They know exactly what they're doing here. Now up in the 5 watts per kilogram, 63 kilometers per hour. Nice little kicks, not too much effort. What a battle here between these two teams. But now, Dave, Aeonian have really played the patience game, and a lot of matches have been burned. And the question is, can
they keep the pace high,
continue to take it to them? That's going to be the big question here.
Well, I mean, this has been some solid defense here from Aeonian, and at this point now, I mean, for them, just keep on keeping on as it is. They don't want to let groups come back in, so they'll keep the pace high enough out here. Again, it's a high speed descent into flat to the finish now. So not a lot of terrain to work with if you're Elise Gallegos and the Wahoo Lacole team. So things looking like they've settled down. A very dangerous moment there for Aeonian, but I think they may just pull this one off today.
Man, it's good to see. I love the
That's
racing.
some good racing.
All back together. Yeah, it's really
high
good
level.
racing. We'll see
It
what
really
happens,
is.
though, still. I mean, there's still plenty of landscape to work with here, Dave. They still got 7-8K at this point. So there's a lot of games to play yet. I mean,
the
it's
racing
gonna be really tough.
I think a lot of what's going to happen is really going to be in the spots outside of the top 10, to tell you the truth.
It's a good point.
What's
happening behind with the chase and whether or not Thorvaldsen, as well as there was one other WLC rider back there, Patterson, is able to get involved. Nice job at Norrin here, though, to take down these points in the countryside. Pasqualini now takes it down as well. Worthington's going to settle for third. It's going to be O'Brien there for fourth from ESRT. This is back in with the men's. The final race that we will be covering for them on the day-to-day. That's going to be the men's open, or the Open American Eastern 1. Not the American. The Open EMEA West Northern 1 is what we're in with. That's the 130 crew. And we'll get a reminder of where the standings are with them in just a moment here. But as they just get out into their country side sprint and finishing that up, we're going to get back in with the ladies. It's been some of the best racing we've seen all day, and finish up our race with them as it's Aeonian versus WLC. And I don't think that they're done, Dave. I think WLC are going to continue. They don't give up. And I have a feeling that they're most likely going to continue to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at them today.
Yeah, these are two of the super squads that we've got in esports squaring off here. Wahoo Lacole and Aeonian. I don't really know traditionally, historically, if there's battles better than what we've got. This is the second group we've talked about what's going on back here. It's a mix of, you can see in the white and pink there, that's going to be BL13. They're my team of the year. I mean, just all the different categories, men, women, they are coming on strong. And it's not going to be long, or it's actually right about now that they become part of that super team group that I'm talking about. But these are the points that I really think are going to decide the day out here. That's part of the beauty of the Zwift Racing League. And what we do with WTRL is create some really fun, dynamic racing situations. And this group here, Nathan, is going to have a lot to race for today as they come into the final 6K at this point. There's Olympic medalist, esport medalist, Vicky Whitelaw out of Australia there.
Yeah, Jewett here on the front, they're not messing around. I Raced Like a Girl rider here has brought back 6 seconds in the last, half a K.
Is that Tamara Jewett?
Jewett is absolutely pressing the pace here right now, and she is fully motivated to bring this back all together. Now that actually benefits Aeonian if they bring Vicky Whitelaw back into the pack here, because Thorvaldsen is 27 seconds back alongside of Joe Patterson now at this point. So bringing all of Aeonian together, this is a big deal actually for the Aeonian team as they sit up front.
Well, and that is true. And Vicky Whitelaw is a good finisher, Nathan. So this is huge for Aeonian that Whitelaw is rejoining the front group. It kind of for Aeonian. That really hurts for Wahoo Lacole now.
It really does. It really, really does. So
such a good effort. But this speaks to too, Nathan, as you've seen through your experience in the ZRL. It's really not about having one or two really good athletes. That's critical. But it's your third and fourth athlete on the team that turn you into a top contending squad or just another good team.
I'm taking a look over at Zwift Power actually for the preems and hopefully see if I can get an idea of how things have played out so far, to at least give some commentary to it. I'm sorry we don't have any of the points out here today, but Vicky Whitelaw took the first country reverse sprint, it looks like, for FAL. Elise Gallegos took the alley sprint reverse for FAL. Things are pretty even though. I mean, Simnick's got a second, Gallegos has got a third, Gallegos has got a first. Lucy Collins. Well, Wahoo Cole did stack a lot early on. I mean, Tempo KOM went to both
Yeah, they
Laura
did.
and Elise. Lucy Gadd, Laura, Cecilia Hansen taking the third. So, I mean, it's still pretty close. Now, it's just the numbers at the end here that might make the difference. Joe Blackburn now making the move here for Aeonian, though.
I would even say, Nathan, it's the numbers at the end that will make the difference. Because you're right. If we stop this race at Country Line Sprint, I think that Wahoo Lacole had done enough to win at that point. But the tide turned right around that point of this race for Aeonian, and their depth and talent really started to show as Joe Blackburn now on the attack. So really the opening salvo is being fired. We do have Tower Sprint reverse with points there before the finish line.
Yeah, and as we do, it is going to be Collins. That's a cover and kill, I think. I think that's mainly just making sure that Blackburn doesn't really get away, which is a good move. You don't want to send any Aeonians. Now, the fact that there's Aeonian have the numbers, though, Dave, this starts to be a situation where WLC just have to cover so many moves because now Hansen can just go over the top. And then another, and then another. So now they're playing the same game that WLC played on them at the beginning.
Right, exactly. And, I mean, the execution of this tactic is you can really count on. If you've got the athletes who have the legs, they should be able to deliver. And this is a great example of that with Cecilia Hansen here, the Swedish super talent on Aeonian. One of the most experienced and successful, decorated esports champions through the years. I have a feeling that Aeonian, it's been close. I mean, it's a 1 point difference separating the top two teams here, Wahoo Lacole. But it just shows you how it is a fine line, a razor's edge separating the top teams out here now.
She's going to take these points here, Dave, through the tower sprint now.
She could take the whole bike race, Nathan.
She
could.
Be honest. 5 watts per kilogram here, Dave. I'm not sure WLC have an answer any longer, which is they did such a great job, Dave. But
harder they chase, the more they set up her teammates too. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard. This is what you're.
Oh, you know what they want to do, though? You know what they want to do, Dave? They want to get the FTS. They're like, okay, fine. We won't get FAL. But look at this. 1, 2, 3. Arrows. Arrow. Art. 1, 2, 3. All FTS. This is brilliant for them because not only do they get all the FTS, they also get the FAL for second, third, and fourth.
And look at the momentum. Right. That was truly impressive racing from Wahoo Lacole. They're not going to lay down, that's for sure. Nathan, you talked about it. I mean, unfortunately, we just don't have the data to look at exactly where we're at. But Wahoo Lacole, did they build up enough of a buffer that they can overcome the situation now with being a little bit behind the 8 ball at the finish with the number of riders in this group? Can they go for quality over quantity?
Dave, it might be happening right in front of our eyes here. I mean, this is.
I wish we knew.
I'm seeing if I'm really trying to bring up data here, everybody, but it's just not happening for us today. But if I can, I will get it for us. When I do bring it up, it doesn't give me numbers that we even want to show at this point. We want to be right if we do show them. Right. So, but everybody, this is turning into one of the best races. It is very close. Now, Dave, there is a break going up the road here at this point, but it's 2v2. Do you commit to this? Because here's the thing. Aeonian don't have to work. They know they got the riders behind. They want the riders to come back. So at this point, it puts everything on WC's shoulders.
Against them. Right, that's the Tai Chi of bike racing, right? If Wahoo Lacole is so intent on pushing the pace here, well, Aeonian right now knows that they can just sit in the slipstream. So it's becoming a real battle of wills as we go down into the final 1K of racing. I mean, these two teams separated by only 1 point. Wahoo Lacole is looking to pull a miracle off out here and tie things up and head into the final race of this season even up. I don't know if they can pull it up or not, but it's not for an incredible lack of effort out here today, Nathan.
That's not a rider you want to see on your wheel when you're leading things out. Oh, man. Lucy Collins, she tries, but she gets one of the best sprinters in the world to grab onto her wheel. Collins now trying to pull something off here. 3.5 watts per kilogram, but Hansen just getting a free ride. Nevin now coming up from Coalition. This is kind of like the silent. Well, here comes Cookies.
That's it. Boy. Keller goes. Well, that should be that. Monolith Keller out of Seattle hitting out using the arrow power up. And I have a feeling Aeonian has, even though they got pushed all the way to the limit, with their back up against the wall, they're a tough team to beat. Estrate now covering Gallegos, as Elise Gallegos going to make a run at it.
All kinds of burrito power-ups, Dave. They're trying to make them so difficult now, but now Simnick, will she be able to come across? Is she going to be able to come across? This is now maybe a lead up for WLC, because now that burrito's going to be going away in a second now, but here comes Estrate. Estrate might just take this win outright, but Keller's got the seconds here, but they're going to come on like a freight train here, Dave. It's going to come right to the line, or no? Modeling Keller actually, she makes it happen.
Yeah.
They're going to go
the Canadian.
2, 3. Oh, Simnick for fourth. It's going to be Gallegos maybe for fifth there, Dave.
Oh, I hate to say a master
They're
class.
So good, Dave. They're so good.
They know how to finish. They really do.
They're just almost so good that it's like watching the perfect cake every time being baked, and it just comes out too good. Like, I don't know what you know what I mean, but you like walk into like the perfect Buddhist garden. You're like, is there anything that is off here at all?
Out of place, right?
Like,
no, I know what you're saying.
Are there humans here? Like, what's going on?
To be fair, it's been a lot of hard work for them to get to that point, right? They've committed to this. They work as a team. They know what they're doing. They're a bunch of smart cookies. So, well earned. Going to take a look now at the guys as they're
it's the Rhino again. And Noren, look at Noren. Johan Noren, this guy is a phenom. This season has been insane from Noren. I've been so impressed. Seen him across all of the esports recently, and if there's somebody to watch out for. But again, Dave, this is old school OG Zwifting, and then there's Pucker from Restart.
That's new school. So, I mean, it's interesting. Restart is not a new team, but they definitely have a new school energy out there, and it certainly doesn't hurt to have some fresh blood like Hayden Pucker making his way onto the team. One of the most exciting riders that we've seen in a long, long time coming into the world of esports, Nathan. I think that you would agree. It's fun to get some fresh takes on things, and Hayden has certainly brought that. Will you do me a favor here, Nathan? Could we take a look at the standings for these teams? I know we've seen so much racing here in the last 3 hours, but just one quick refresh to see where we're at.
I don't think we actually even looked at this one yet, actually, so I'll bring that in as fast as I possibly can.
Thank you, sir. Not trying to produce you at all.
It's a good call, actually. I was also bringing up the women's results, too. We'll take a look at those in just a minute. I think we have the top 30 across the line, so we'll take a look at that in just a sec.
I don't think
going to battle here. Is he going to get second? Oh, it's right to the line here for Pucker. I think he's going to... Oh, did they already come over the top? It looks like they actually already came over the top.
They have. Okay. Yeah, so this is now on the way down. This is a crazy day, believe me. We're out here on Chasing the Sun. When you look at what you have going from, well, starting in the harbor, and then immediately we go to that marketplace, and then we're sprinting in the alley, and then the railway up to the rooftops, and then out the tunnel to Umazi, and then that was country sprints that were rolling through villages, now temple climbs, and then we'll make our way back into Umazi at some point soon. We're down to 10K of racing, but thank you, Nathan, for this. I think the real battle is going to be that mutant, maybe unknown, but you can see Swedish Swifters, the Balder, on top, 78 points. So they've had a really, really good run here into the fifth of 6 races this season. Mutant Z sitting tied on 72 points there with maybe unknown ESRT. We'll keep a close eye on that for you here as we bring them home today in this 5th race of the season. Wahoo Lacole, the A3RO team in 4th. They got a 2-point advantage here on Dirty Beasts. It's Restart presented by Alex Coe in 6th, 1 point ahead of the RR Renegade Rhinos. The AT GNI team in 8th, Cryogen Valthorans in 9th, and then Team Italia. I don't know how to say that. Team
Italian 10. I think it's 10.
Italian 10.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
10, appropriately. So there you go. Thank you, Nathan, for bringing it up. That gives us a feel for, I got to know where you stand before I know what we're doing out here. So now we have that feel. as we take a look at the Swede, Johan Noren, with a 7-second advantage now on a chase that looks like it's shattering.
Yeah, four riders chasing. They've got Farm Watts in there. Hayden Pucker chasing
That's
alongside of him. Yeah, that's always a good thing to have. Warsdale the Rhino is there as well. Pascalini's trying to chase from the Mutants. I think he's solo at this point though. The Mutants.
I'll take a Rhino and Farm Watts. Yeah,
Rhino, Farm Watts, and Mutants. I mean, it doesn't get more weird than that.
Now, if you just jumped into the commentary without knowing what sport this was, you'd be.
Look at Warsdale. He's like South Africa flying. Fire. What is going on with this Rhino? He's been doing this all day.
Wasn't he the rider? Wasn't Warsdale the rider that took the opening sprint?
Yeah, went off the front. No, right. that was that was.
Oh, sorry.
For ATG and I, that was. I'll find it for you. But
that's sorry. But what's crazy is how this race is unlike anything else we've seen today.
Nick Basson for the ATG and I rider, and he. Went backwards so quickly and then found himself completely out of the race within the first 10K, but he did his work.
But he did what points.
He needed. Exactly.
Yeah. That's a lot more points than some riders will score out here today.
This is interesting that the Rhino's not really working together with the rest of the crew here at this point. Pucker's playing it pretty smart. Not usually
you ever try to work with a Rhino, Nathan? They are not super cooperative. They are not known for being cooperative.
Johan Noren says, forget it. This guy is just gone at this point. And, he's been doing this a lot this season. I think also across some of the other platforms, I think he's been winning some big races as well. So this is definitely somebody to be watching out for when it comes to the highest level of esports. I think Zwift Games is going to be on his radar. That's why he's this is an all-in move. Catch me if you can. And this is the kind of rides you got to have to take the a world level Zwift Games type championship. And we'll see if Noren can be one of those guys.
I know there were a lot of factors there with the Haley Simmons ride that we saw today, but same kind of thing, right, Nathan? I mean, that effort from her shows that she's got some incredible form right now. I actually didn't see if she was on the start list for Zwift Games or not. I'll have to check that. I hope she is. That's for sure. I saw someone in the comments mentioning that she was on the podium, a Commonwealth medalist as well. So that's a real race resume to look back on. So certainly a noteworthy moment in this ZRL season was the 2-minute 37-second advantage that Haley Simmons of the Movistar team had at the finish line out here today. One of the greatest solo breakaways in race league history. Let's see if Johan Noren can pull something like that off. I tend to believe that he'll stay away today.
It looks to me like he's got the power.
I'm feeling it.
And I'm not sure that the riders behind want to work together to bring him back. From what I'm seeing. Well,
and he's got it.
You see the way that they're riding against each other. I mean, Warsdale's just trying to catch him straight up. That's what he's up to, this Rhino. And here's the thing. If
he's not using the other riders to help is the thing.
No, he's not. That's a good point. Really good point.
But so that'd sort of be my race IQ thing. It's like, if you really want something in bike racing, one, don't let anybody else know that for sure. But two, use other people to help you get to your goal, right? That would have been the trick in my mind, would be to try to get those guys to chase harder and then attack them and jump across when it was down to, in the final couple of K. I think you might have had a little bit bigger of a window to make it a successful move. But Warsdale will certainly prove me wrong here.
Warsdale, this is someone I'm not familiar with. He raised some eyebrows for me just a moment ago, but I'm looking through here at his Zwift Power profile, and he's just a newer rider to the scene. Only a level 41 but only for being such a all-star
A
here
at the
today.
front of a race like this. Yeah.
Raced in South Africa over the years 2017 to 2021, achieving some top results. Currently getting involved in the European racing scene. puts his first cycling as well as race tech results, pro cycling stat results are all up over there. Peak road data, he's got coming in at 69 kilograms at 20 minutes for 4:18. That is insane. 5 seconds. He's got 13:78 is what I'm looking at. This guy is top pro material. Looking at this, 24 years of age. And I'm seeing some pretty good results. Fourth at the stage of Tour of Limpopo. It's looking like Good Hope as well. He's got the sixth in the KOM there in 2019. Sixth at national championships at individual time trial in South Africa in 2021. So definitely...
that's a real deal kind of athlete for sure.
Yeah. So he's got some UCI points up, and I think someone who definitely wants to make a name for himself, it looks like, as he's pushing himself here on Zwift. And if he's heading to Europe to try and get some real results out of Europe, he's definitely someone who's committed his life to it.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like somebody that should be, if he hasn't already, be in Zwift Academy, to tell you the truth. So this man is gone.
Worsdale, the funny thing is he is gone. It's 14 seconds. I think it's probably too much. It's 4K still though. Noren though at 158. I mean, I don't think what's his max heart rate?
Killing it. Yeah, and he's matching them watt for watt out here as well. And I have a feeling that this is a bit of a final workout before Zwift Games vibe for Johan Noren today.
Yeah, most likely, I think is what's going on here. And it's always good to get those kind of rides in, isn't it?
It sure is. And there's nothing, Nathan, as you well know, you want to get the competitive juices going because this is where you find that last 1% on a day like today, on a ride like this. But it's the competitive arena, that environment that you need to find that. And he found it.
Behind here, it looks like they were caught, Dave. That group.
Okay.
So all together here, O'Brien, Sharp, Brackfeld, Hayden Puckers here, Fell from Hexagon. We're seeing Browell from Mutant. So they're going to set up for the sprint. There's the FAL are gone up the road at this point, but plenty of FTS to fight for. Dad, I didn't realize, Dave, Jam Rosick is here. Jammers with Diaz looking to get back on terms with him. McCrae. Now this is a battle that's going on here. We've got a battle within the battles right here, and this is McCrae sitting on Diaz's wheel with Jammers just pushing the pace at the front. 1-2, 1-2. Menard's here as well. This is a restart sandwich. WLC though are involved as well, so this is getting interesting here. As Diaz now, is he opening up now with an arrow power up coming into this FAL, but there's no FAL involved here actually. This is just trying to break.
There isn't. Yeah, we're on our way to Temple or Tower Sprint Reverse at this point. We're going to see a lot of great restart Wahoo Lacole battles over the next few seasons of racing. That's for sure. As here we go.
Look at Hayden. This is classic Pucker. The guy's just got massive watts and no sprint.
Yeah, I mean, he's a diesel if there ever was one. I'm sure that most of the equipment on the farm runs on diesel, so that's fitting.
I think he's getting dropped, though, at this point, Dave. I think that it might be... He might come back. He might come back. Oh, he's on a gravel bike, Dave.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
What is going on?
Okay, that's client side. That has to be.
I don't know, that's Dave. He's doing 428 watts at 45 kilometers per hour. Dave, I think he's actually on a gravel bike.
Do you think? How long has Hayden been Zwifting?
No, Dave. I think he's flex. I think this is a flex.
Flex. Oh man.
I think it's just
he's back into that group. He's back into that group. They're down to 1.5K of racing remaining here.
Worsdale's taking the turn on to the next instance here. The reason you can't see the rider up front is he's so far ahead. He's entered another section of the world. So there's Noren, 14 seconds up.
Yeah, but that'll be good for a win for the Swede here, as Johan Noren should bring some really good form into the Zwift games out here. Warsdale looks like, is he going to, yeah, it looks like he'll hold them off. He's got a 10-second advantage himself on the chase behind.
Yeah, Bravo's trying to catch him there. 24 seconds. Dave, this is quite a difficult race. I mean, you've got riders all over the shop here at this point. Look at this. 14 seconds up.
This group is
then Warsdale's 10 seconds up for Bravo. Hayden Pucker on a gravel bike is dragging the pack behind them. Has caught that pack, gone through him, and he is on a gravel bike. I'm getting confirmation from the teammates that he actually is on a gravel bike and did that on purpose. The guy's an animal. That is
the ultimate flex, as Alejandro says, and I completely agree. Well, what a day. What a way to wrap things up. I think Johan Noren would say, no, this is the ultimate flex, though, right here. A solo attack out of this group to hold on.
Yeah, and to hold them off the way in the fashion that he did. I mean, there was a chase group. At any point, I would have probably thrown in the towel with the way that things were going. But we actually will not see the finish line because I jumped in here without being a part of the group. So I want to make sure I don't lose the race here. But Noren is going to be crossing the line right about now. You did see his little blue dot there disappear. Then it's going to be Warsdale coming in. He's got about 100 meters to go to the line. Browell's now coming through. He's got that burrito as he does not want to get caught. There's nobody to draft on him at this point. That's going to be for third place. Behind ESRT opening things up. Pucker there sprinting behind on the gravel. ESRT going to go fourth and fifth across the line, I believe. Yep, and there it is. That's the situation. Well, Dave, let's go ahead and take a look at the results, though, for the ladies. As we had those ladies come across the line earlier. One of the best races that I think we saw all day was that women's race, and it was Monnalie Keller. What a kick from Keller. That was really, and she really, I think she waited for that moment because everybody else on her team were involved in a lot of attacks, but Keller, I think, she was kind of that rider that was just always in the right place, the right time, following moves, and waited for that kick to the line.
They're a sophisticated team, no question. And Monnalie Keller is a sophisticated woman on top of the table there with a win. Daniela Strate, her teammate, for second, and Vicky Whitelaw and Laura Simic making it a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Simnick riding for WLC.
Simnick, my bad. Sorry. Yep. But 1, 2, 3 for the Aeonian ladies with Laura Simnick coming through for fourth. Watch for Laura on the Zwift Academy. It's going to be so fun to see how that all plays out. So good luck, Laura. It's Harriet Loden in for fifth. Elise Gallegos sixth today, but a noteworthy ride from Elise. Laura Meyer in seventh. Cecilia Hansen eighth. Anna Nevin in ninth. And Lucy Collins rounds out our top 10 for the A women racing out here today as they chase the sun around McCurry.
They actually didn't have the worst ride out there, BL13 either. They ended up with a couple in that top 10 there, but really it's just a dominating performance to show us how it's done. Coming in from Aeonian, really impressed actually with that. Now, WLC, they showed up to race and they definitely, made them work for it today, right from the get-go too. Right from the get-go with those attacks from Gallegos. But Gallegos, we'll have to wait and see what the points end up being. I think, though, it was a walkaway a little bit there at the end for Aeonia. I'm going to actually take a look over at WTRL before we're done here. Dave, take us through this, though, for the Open EMEA W Northern 1 that we just saw finish.
Yeah, we just saw Johan Noren take a solo victory out there. Strong ride from Alex Warsdale. Getting to know him was a fun part of the day today. So good job, Alex, for the silver. It's going to be Browell for third, Richard Brackval for fourth, Brian O'Brien in fifth, Pierre Fell for sixth, Carlos Rico Garcia in seventh, Callum Sharp in eighth, Hayden Pucker ninth, and Frederick Pasqualini rounding out our top 10. That's the Amen. A lot of racing out here today. We're not done. We'll be back later today, a few hours from now, to cover the Americas. You can always go.
Dave, we might have been wrong. No way. We have been calling this whole time, Dave. I'm just gonna make sure about this. But Dave, I think they did it. They may have done it. Over on what is this the right? It was EMEA Western A1, right? That's what we're talking about. Just double checking, making sure I got this right because I'm having trouble believing my eyes. That's. But so far, I've got the data in front of me over at WTRL, and I'm seeing Wahoo Lacole Vitesse. All of those points early on, Dave, they got beat at the 170 there. No, I'm not sure. I mean, is this updated
I
enough
would
yet?
hold on that. I don't know that I would.
If we go
No
through
comment.
406 and 386, I'm not sure there's a whole lot more left to do here.
Just after today and everything that we've had,
But this can't be wrong.
it's
What I just
settled.
opened up here, this cannot be
Okay.
wrong. What I'm
All
looking
right.
at right here, Keller
Well, then
takes
there you go.
finish line points for 40, Estrate 35, and Whitelaw. That's all right, and those are added up correctly. But look at Gallegos. That's why Gallegos and Simnick take 125 and 155. Wahoo Lacole.
Why are you seeing two riders scoring the same finish line points for Blackburn and Henderson at 20 and 20 then?
Henderson and Blackburn crossed the line for finish line at 20. That's a good
They
question.
couldn't tie on points. That's why I'm saying I would just wait before you were too sure on this, is my thought. But
I've never seen these ones. I've never seen them. These ones incorrect, but you might be right. There might be right. I think Wahoo Lacole did it. I think that these FTS FNL up front were enough that Simnick and Gallegos, they stacked it so much up front that they were able to do this. But
the weird thing is the way that those points are distributed, though. Because how many? Oh, no, that's right. Well, let's see here. 29 points for fourth. I don't know that we should do this right here, though.
yeah, I think they did. Well, it was the biggest race of the day. I think the biggest race of the day. It's the points race, same points down the line, like from 25th to 30th.
Yeah.
So Tepe is letting us know.
I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah. I think they did it. I mean, that whole time we were calling it the Aeonian did it. I just want to correct that. It looks to me that no, that's not what actually happened.
Well,
now, apologies, we don't have
fair,
the points. We don't have the points for us. So like until we went.
To be fair, I was never calling it that Aeonian did it winning the day. It was just that they took the top three spots at the finish line. But we didn't have the data, which makes it really tough. I mean, we're only seeing that now, but it's a thumbnail sketch that we're using up to that point of saying it looked like they would have taken more points. But you have to see all the data before you can really accurately.
I just wasn't weighing those first Ks and the way that they took out all those points early on, but the amount of FTS and FAL that Wahoo Lacole were able to go after. Now, it was a close race. They only won by 20 points. That's it. That's one finisher at the finish line. That's all they won by. I mean, that's well done on them. And those points actually from Thorvaldsen at the finish line, and God, that's actually what kicked them up over the top. That battling that they did in that chase is part of what kept them in that race, actually, which is nice job by Gad and Thorvaldsen and Joe Patterson behind there as well.
Do we have a tie? Can riders actually tie and both get the same points for that spot?
That's a really good question because we have had ties all the way down to the thousandth of a second.
Sure.
And in those situations,
there's definitely ties. I mean, ties exist. We've seen it.
But 11th through 15th get 20 points. So it's all the same for 11th through 15th.
Oh, that's why.
Yep. Yeah.
There you go.
So that looks like that's what's going on there. Well, thanks everybody for having patience with us though on the points out there today. We just didn't have the live data for it. We're gonna see if we can fix that before our next go around on a points race. It's been a lot of pushing and trying to make that happen. We'll see what we can do about that. But Dave, this has been a crazy day. I'm looking forward to America's later today. I'm also kind of looking forward to racing myself, but this looked like some of the hardest. And the interesting thing is how tactical the racing was out there today. I really want a good workout, so I'm probably going to pull. I was inspired by Gallegos. So I'm going to see what I can throw down out there today, because I think the way to roll this one is just continually attack, and see if we can win the day just through pure aggression, because that's kind of what Wahoo Cole seemed to do today.
I agree. I would say channel your inner Haley Simmons. Then
there we go. Try to
pull that off. Right.
that was a crazy
but I'll
ride.
see you before that. I'll see you in a few hours for the Americas coverage here.
Yep, Americas covers, everybody. Will be in with the women and the men. Don't go anywhere. Well, you can go take a break. We'll be gone for a couple hours, but we'll see you at around 6 p.m. Central Time. You can head over to swiftcommunitylive.com for all the places that we are live, as well as the podcast. We have been live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Though you can hit follow buttons on those places as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in for this race number 5 in round 3. We'll see you later for America. From Dave and I, thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, ride on.